Boy, we ball out. Pull up, put the whole conference in the doghouse. Leave them 6 feet. See me on the win streak. All-star status, go coach and the bench deep. Right. Offense on 10, how we run it? Your best ain't nothing. We gon' send them boys punting. Yep. Black and red got them dead on arrival. Defense hunker down for the tie. Hey, hey, you don't want it with the dogs. Film guy on it, you don't want it with my dog. Break it down, play by play. That's the day-to-day. Yeah. They know we ain't come to play. Boy, it's UGA. Right. Kirby Smart, I cannot play the fool. Back to back, we did not come to lose. Back to back, like we got something to prove. Pay your dues, dog nation on the move. What's up?
We do a little bit different around here.
We ain't come to play. We ain't come to play. Shut up and grind the tape.
The tape.
We ain't come to play. We ain't come to play. Them dogs in your face.
Let's grind.
We ain't come to play. We ain't come to play. Shut up and grind the tape.
Shut up. Let's grind.
We ain't come to play. We ain't come to play. Them dogs in your face. Shut up and grind.
Let's grind.
Grind the tape, bro. Grind the tape, bro. Grind the tape.
The
Shut
tape.
up and grind.
Let's grind.
Grind the tape, bro. Grind the tape, bro. Grind the tape, bro. Shut up and grind. Grind the tape, bro. Grind the tape, bro. Grind the tape. Shut up and grind. Grind the tape, bro. Grind the tape, bro. Grind the tape, bro.
Shut up.
Welcome in, ladies and gentlemen, to MBR, or as we like to call it around here, Nothing But Rants, the show where I find topics that I'm oddly passionate about and I pontificate upon them. These are not hot takes, but rather takes that I'm hot about. What's up? You like that? You really like that?
Let's shut up and grind some tape.
What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome in to the Film Guy Network on a fabulous Tuesday evening. I got to tell you what, I am excited to be back with you guys here on tonight's show. Last show, best show. One of those, hey, but Brissy gonna show up for 2 hours. I'm back out of town again tomorrow. Sorry about it.
He's just pulling the plug on us is what I'm hearing.
Yeah,
we got our run.
Up to something season, I'm just messing around with y'all. No, I'm just
lock
kidding.
the door on us. Like, you guys can't even come
I am leaving town Thursday morning. Not going to be here Thursday. So last show, best show. Let's knock it out. It's going to be a good one. We got a loaded show for you guys tonight. We're going to be talking about all kinds of different things. We got college football questionnaire, a new segment from the boys that they invented whilst I was gone. So excited to hear about that tonight, even though I think I came in midway through one of them.
Yeah.
But we're really going to feel what that segment is about tonight. Paul Finebaum off of his heater?
Might be, dude.
Somebody's off the hot seat potentially with Paul Finebaum. Alabama apparently has 2020 vibes. I can't wait for somebody to tell me they got 2019 LSU vibes. We're right around the corner from that one, I'm sure. Apparently no more suing college football teams. Four college football teams. No longer suing the NCAA. We'll talk about that tonight as well. But I wanted to start tonight's show with a little bit of combination. We're going to play ping pong tonight to start the show. For every one road recruiting trail observation I'm going to give you, the boys are going to catch me up on a news item that I didn't get the opportunity to give a take on whilst I was on the recruiting trail. This will be a good opportunity. This is our way of not boring you with 15 minutes of Brooks was on the recruiting trail while giving you a little bit of 15 minutes of Brooks' opinions on news items that he missed. I think it's a good opportunity.
Yeah,
it's a good idea here. Make sure you hit that thumbs up button, like, subscribing, rate, and reviewing. All that good stuff. Glad to be back here again with you today. So let's do it right here. News that I missed. First one, who's got love serve? What did I miss first?
Notre Dame USC. This was announced yesterday that it might be coming to an end. Almost 100-year tradition of these two schools playing.
Now look, I hate when tradition ends in college football just as much as the next guy, but here's the deal. Unless you've been like, what is the animal that sticks their head in the stands? Is that an ostrich?
Yes.
Unless you've been ostrich in this bitch, all of our traditions are changing. So if you're going to get all pearl clutching about a tradition changing, man, you've really, really hated what's been going on in the last 3 or 4 years. And I'm with you. I don't like it either, but it's the nature of the business nowadays in college football. I'm gonna swerve a little bit on this topic because last night I called in jokingly, ha, 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 Lincoln Riley ducking the smoke. And I get that take. I understand why people are upset because USC is the party that is the one making this happen, right? Putting the wheels in motion on. We done playing that one. And I understand the people making fun of UFC and making fun of Lincoln Riley and getting onto the Trojans for kind of taking away something that we love about the sport, or at least trying to. All right, but we're also the same people that sit on this stage every single year when Notre Dame comes up and we're like, you know what? I'm so sick and tired of Notre Dame and their football supremacy. We're big enough of a brand. We don't need a conference. And we're one of those shows that hates on them for doing that. We give them shit all the time. So much so that I'm not going to speak for y'all, I have come to this microphone and said over and over again, boy, I sure shit wish one of these other programs would stop scheduling them. Stop scheduling Notre Dame out of conference. First of all, you're in a conference. SEC, Big Ten teams, you're in a conference. You have to play a conference schedule that's legit. It's tough. You're not out here losing in Northern Illinois at home. You got to play a legitimate conference schedule, and they get to sit up there on their high horse because they got an NBC contract, and they ain't got to play no conference schedule. That's bullshit. It's not fair. We've talked about it over and over again ad nauseum till I'm blue in the face. And then the one time one team looks at it and says, guys, to hell with this shit. I got to play 9 conference games in the Big Ten now. Why in the hell are we going into South Bend every other year to play a another Big Ten team, or at least an ACC team that's disguising themselves as a non-independent, all right, or an independent? And here's the other thing that pisses me off. They have this superiority complex in only football. We don't let them do this shit in baseball. You know why? Because they need a conference. We don't let them do this shit in basketball. You know why? Because they need a conference. Then COVID came around, and they needed a conference to play. So what'd they do? They hopped into the ACC for a year. And you know what the ACC did? Because they're so down bad, the ACC was like, you know what, Notre Dame? You can schedule like 6 or 7 of our conference teams every single year and basically call yourself an ACC team without calling yourself an ACC team, and then still get the full $20 million when you make the conference or the college football playoff, because you'll inevitably do it anyways because you're going to be a top 12 team. I don't know if you can tell. A little bit hot on this one. A little bit hot on this one because it finally happened. Someone finally called them and said, you know what, screw this shit. I'm not going to put up with Notre Dame out here just thinking that they're superior to the rest of us. The rest of us have to play inside of a conference. The rest of us have to play by these rules. And Notre Dame gets to recruit with the rest of us and not play any of us. That's bullshit.
I think what would have been better is if Clemson had been the team that said, we're not signing this 10-year contract with you. We don't want to play you. You can go find another opponent. Instead, they signed the 10-year contract anyways. And instead, it's USC that potentially might push back on this a little bit and kind of ruin tradition. I guess a bug landed on the screen. We got the wheel spinning.
They'd be doing that.
Phantom spins over there.
Phantom spin on the wheel. What did it pop?
Name that bulldog.
That's a local hour. Yeah.
We'll save that.
We forgot. I took I put the audio on the TV while I was gone. That's
all good.
Me.
It's all good.
The kiddos wanted to do a Grinch Christmas activity on the big board, and they got after
And
it.
you let them do that in the middle of the spring?
Yeah. I mean,
You can't do that, bro.
bro, Grinch is year round.
No.
And Christmas jammies year round because my son thinks he runs faster in them.
Oh,
Y'all remember that stage?
I mean, I
Y'all
get
remember
that.
stage? Had a special pair of shoes, maybe run faster.
That's understandable.
Yeah,
but
the Christmas jammies
Christmas
make 'em
year
run
round
faster.
thing is unacceptable.
Yeah, no, the Christmas music thing year round. Get the hell out.
Yeah.
Agreed.
The Grinch Christmas YouTube activity thing that makes my kids move for 20 minutes,
Oh, yeah.
It's fair enough.
no matter what season, that's my season. I'm down for that one.
Understandable.
Oh, note from the trail. Ooh. Now that I done cooked USC in reverse, I cooked Notre Dame. Sorry. I thought I was going to be the anti-USC guy on that one. Why y'all ducking smoke? Swerve over to that left lane. To hell with Notre Dame. Best player I saw on the recruiting trail. I got 3 classes for you. 2026, Tyler Atkinson. Easy. Cupcake. Some other great 2026 guys that I'll talk about a little bit later. Best 2027 player I saw practice, Jaden Upshaw. He's on the board. Wide receiver from Lee County. What?
I saw practice is funny.
Yeah, I didn't see LaDamian Guyton practice. He's the best player in 2027. There's no doubt about it. He didn't practice. So, shoulder injury. I ain't like I got to see it to confirm it. I've done seen it in a real game. He's going to be a great football player. 2028, Giovanni Tuggle. I think I've talked about him on this show already. That is one of the smoothest movers I've seen as a defensive back. as a sophomore, rising sophomore, in a long time. Watching him run around, moves like KJ Bolden, moves like Malachi Starks, covers ground effortlessly and efficiently.
Not too often you get one of those in the backyard over here.
No. Right there at Winder Barrow. Top 5 in 2026. You ready?
Yeah.
In-state right here. Kids that I saw this spring. Now, I don't have them ranked this way because I think I just love these players. These are my top 5. All right. I don't think they're like Jordan Edmonds. I think is going to be a better player. He's ranked number 3. All right. So here we go. Number 1, Chris Booker. Offensive lineman at Hateville. I came to the show talking about him. That kid's going to be a pro. I cannot wait to follow that kid's career wherever he goes. I should say young man. Craig Dandridge out of Cambridge High School. The rare two things about Craig. First and foremost, all you kids nowadays, y'all running track, but not all you track players are football players. All right, not all you track runners are football players. Some of you guys just real fast in a straight line. Some of y'all don't know how to start and stop. Some of y'all don't know how to make plays with the ball in your hands. Some of you don't know how to find the football. Some of you are just fast. The God touched you in the speed department, didn't give you no ball playing skills. This kid, ball player. This kid knows how to play football. He knows how to make people miss, and the track speed translates. So that's the first box check. The other thing about this kid, he broke both wrists last spring. This time last year, both wrists. So the developmental portion kind of took a dive, if you will. Comes back from broken wrists, and your junior tape in your evaluation process is the most important thing. What did he do last year on tape? 1,400 yards in 6A. Balled out, okay? Went ham on the tape. The tape and the production, box check. Okay, so then we go into the January process. What are you doing in January in high school? You running track. What's he go out there and do on the track season? Confirms PRs, 10.85, I believe, in the 100 meter. So we checking boxes there. Then we go into spring practice when coaches can come out and watch us practice. And what do? We ball. I mean ball. I go to Milton High School. James Coley standing about 5 yards down the field from me, balling. All right, catches a slant, takes a 75. Nobody can touch him. Box check, box check, box check, box check. All right, he's going to be a take for a lot of football teams. It looks like right now, I think it's a staring contest between Clemson and Georgia.
Between
Clemson
that,
and Georgia. Number 2.
From that clip you posted on Twitter, he got some swag to him too.
I had three SEC coaches text me about that one.
Yeah, that was
And
nuts.
two of them were there. You know, James Coley and Coach Rodriguez, Florida wide receiver coach, there at the game. I got 3 other SEC coaches like, bro, that clip, what? Yeah, he is like that. Number 3, Jordan Edmonds, 6'2.5". I'd say 6'3", corner out of Sprayberry High School. Chris Booker and Jordan Edmonds not only being committed to Alabama, but having been found that early and being committable, takeable, we got to have these guys types of recruits for Alabama. Courtney Morgan and that staff, tremendous job there. You came in, took what I consider blue chippers up out of this state, up underneath the nose of Georgia, not before they knew about them, but before they were in love with them. You had them and married to them before the other guys even found them and go, ooh, that girl's kind of hot. Like, that's impressive in this state. Number 4, Jordan Smith, cornerback commit out of Houston County. He's going to play corner at Georgia. At least try it first. 6'2", 195 pounds, 10.66.
He still listed as a safety on?
Still listed as a safety everywhere else, but, you know, the homie get the intel every once in a while. Patreon.com/Brooks Austin. Number 5, Tristan Givens. Tristan Givens out of Carver, Columbus in 2026. I think that one's down to Texas A&M, Tennessee, and Florida State. And he going to be a dude. Tristan Givens is like one of those players right now that the quote-unquote big boys, like he's an in-state kid. Why is Georgia not in on him? Well, he's only about 210 pounds right now. He looks, I said this a couple weeks ago, he looks to me like he's going to stare at a nutrition plan in college and gain 20 pounds.
That sounds nice.
I'm in on it.
Jealous.
Yeah, you can't seem to put on weight?
Not anymore, dude. Not good weight.
Come holler at your boy. Come just spend like a week at the crib. I'll put some weight on you. You might not like the way it happened.
Yeah, not that kind of weight.
But we going to do it. We're going to pack the poundage on, fam. We're strict on carnivore now. We back slimming and trimming.
There you go.
Yeah. Next segment. Ping pong. Back over to you guys. What did I miss?
Power 4 conferences are making teams sign a rules agreement. If they don't, they're being at risk of being forced to get kicked out of the conference.
So the team most notably being referenced as you finna get kicked out if you don't agree with this is Tennessee and Vanderbilt. Now, Vanderbilt is kind of like little bro in this thing because they're in Tennessee State school. Tennessee passed an NIL bill that is very, very advantageous to Tennessee high school football. No different than Missouri. But you don't hear Missouri yapping that mouth right about now about this because they just going to bend the knee like everybody else should. And I ain't going to lie to you. Now, this is me talking, the guy who covers college football. I do not have ties to Tennessee. I don't care if they win national titles. But you know who does? Tennessee state legislators and Tennessee college football coaches and all those folks up there, they are in a competitive field. They want to win as many games. They want to pass as many laws as they possibly can to help them win games. I understand why they are doing what they are doing. However, I told a Tennessee source today, everybody needs to shut the hell up and get in line. All of y'all. Every single college football program needs to shut up, bend the knee, agree to these terms, and just move on. It's the only way we're going to have any type of sanity in this sport. So if the rules committee wants to say, if you want to be in a conference, you are going to agree to these rules, you're going to sign them, and if you don't abide by these rules, we going to come get you. If you don't want to abide by that, then go get the hell on. All right, all of you. Because I've been covering a sport for the last 3.5 years that my constituents, you guys, listening to this today, you're nervous. You're scared. You don't know what's happening to the game that you love. I hear that so many times. So by God, Tennessee Volunteers, Vanderbilt Commodores, all of you that think whatever this ruling isn't comfortable for you or you don't like it, tough shit, bite your lip, move on. Sign it and let's go. Because I am tired of the sport that I cover and the sport that I love being up in arms and being, oh, we don't know what's going to happen. Now we do. Sign it, shut up, move on.
Yeah, you got your moment in the sun of getting this advantage and being able to do this, but I feel like if, especially this loud of a majority, it's not like it's Tennessee and a few other states. I mean, it's really just them.
Off the nose?
Just go ahead and get in line with everybody else so that we can move forward as a sport, because that's the last thing we want is people splitting down, not the middle, but splitting down the 2%. And
look, man, I understand that they feel like they've gotten a competitive advantage. And look, there's no denying it. I think Josh Heupel's a great football coach. But Tennessee recruiting, at least the level and the rate at which they're recruiting, has undoubtedly increased since these types of NIL rules have been available. There's no doubt about it. There's no lying about it. That being said, I don't think they need it right now. You're a program that's winning now. You're a top 5 program in the SEC, in my opinion. Annually, I will put you in that discussion. So you should be able to recruit fine without having to overpay everybody and their mama. Also, buddy, Tennessee since the 90s has recruited this state exceptionally well because Georgia can't take them all. So come down here, get the football players like you did last class from this state that are really, really good that you ain't got to pay an assload of money for and cheat to do so.
And by the way,
I'm not saying they're cheating because everything's legal right now, but it ain't fitting to be.
Well, that's not also the thing. It's not stopping you from doing these certain things. Like we've seen, have examples before of them, quote unquote, breaking the rules. All it's doing is stopping you from going in and suing the division that's going to enforce these rules and keeping them from doing so.
Well,
break the rules all you want now.
Well, break the rules all you want, but now you're actually going to get in trouble. You can't say, NCAA,
exactly.
Watch this. I'm going to beat your ass in court. No, you're not. You have to sign this.
I mean, I think we can all agree that, like, even before we had the NIL legislation and all things, like, teams were breaking the rules before and it was going under the radar. Now, I mean, McDonald's bags in the drive-thru and all those things is a little egregious, but there's still ways to break the rules.
Plus, a school that, like, of all schools that should be okay with this, it should be Tennessee right now. Considering what you just went through in this offseason, considering, like, the negotiation period that you had to go through, not only losing Nico, but also losing Jacoby Thomas to Miami, like, you of all schools right now should be like, man, we do need to do something because we're sick and tired of this.
From everything I hear and everything I read, they're gonna keep pointing the gun at the SEC and dare them, basically. It's ridiculous to me. Now, I get it. It's ridiculous to me. I am not a Tennessee fan, and I'm not tied to their wins and losses. Those people are. So and I am all for states' rights. That's the discussion we're getting into now, too, with this.
Yeah.
They're claiming states' rights. We have a state law that we rushed into legislation. What are y'all going to do about it? We have states' rights. I'm all for states' rights, but I'm for the sanctity of college football, and that first and foremost, in my opinion. To hell with states' rights. Give me football the right way.
Oh, boy.
Sorry. Ping pong. Best practice I watched.
Ooh, this is interesting.
I got 3 mentions. Okay. Now, when I do this, okay, I don't want to hear nothing from no high school football coaches, please. I love you all. For Christ's sakes, I traveled 3,600 miles over the last month. I saw 36 schools. I dare you to find me a single media member in the world that saw as many programs in this state as I did. All right, so I dare you. I'm a one man. I can only go to so many. So don't give me shit about none of this, please. I love you. I love you all. That being said, the best practice that I watched that caught me completely off guard, because the first time I've ever been there, Winder Barrow. Winder Barrow had a professional, like not even professional, pros don't practice hard. They had an SEC Power 5 national championship caliber level practice. It was balls to the wall from start to finish. No, hey, we're going to take 5 minutes to collect our thoughts. Y'all get water breaks. Coach is going to talk. Y'all get water when you need water in between reps, no different than you do on Saturdays or on Fridays in high school, right? You come off the field, you get a shot, you go back on the field. That's how we play football. There ain't no, we're going to take 5-minute water break in football. Hell no. It's sudden change. It's moving. That's how we need to practice. That's how Winder Barrow practice. Also, another thing I saw them do, they had a statistician. I think I talked about this on this show. A high school statistician. They had a young student that was out there that when somebody during practice made a play, right, on defense, for example, created a havoc play, the statistician was there to keep it. That's incredible to me. That's stuff I see when I go out to college campuses, okay, and I go watch those guys practice. Enjoyed that one. Gainesville is an annual for me. Even on a light day, they was banging and clanging. Like they had a scrimmage the next day, and coach was like, we ain't going to do much. Next thing I know, full 11-on-11 inside run breaking out for a good 20 minutes, and they, 11-on-11 for a good 40.
Is it no longer a GSHA rule that you have to like allot a certain amount of time for water breaks?
I knew.
Okay.
Not that I know of. And
might
I
just-
guarantee, I guarantee I know how I would break that. We would have one kid that we follow around all day, and we time how long he's getting water. Mm-hmm. I don't need to segment my practice to make sure my players are hydrated.
Right.
Get the hell out of there. No. That's what I would tell the GS. I'm not telling you that.
No, yeah. I just want to make sure we didn't like expose any high school programs.
Another one, Thomas County Central. That is, man. There are certain football programs in this state and certain regions of this state every year that I go out, like Jones County last year. Ain't a single pussy playing football player coming out of Jones County. Ain't one. You ain't going to find a single football player at Thomas County Central pussyfooting, as football coaches would say, like shying into contact. Ain't none of that. If they are, they don't play football there anymore. So I enjoyed that one a lot as well. Ping pong, what did I miss?
Bill Belichick still in the news. You put it in there as getting married. Did
He's
you?
getting married. He's engaged.
Allegedly engaged.
Allegedly. Came out in the New York Times
I missed
today.
that one.
So the build the wall defense, okay? This started with Belichick. 4-2, build the wall defense. All right, we got 6 gaps on offense, right? 3 on the left side, 3 on the right side, 1 down the middle, technically 7. We got 6 players to fill it, all right, on defense, 4-2, right? Build the wall defense was we are not going to get upfield. We are not going to allow creases in our defense. We are not going to give up explosive runs because we are going to build a wall. The New England Patriots created this to stop Le'Veon Bell from running and dancing behind the line and then finding a crease in the defense. They're going to build a wall. Boy, that prenup better be built like a wall. I'm telling you right now. That thing better be tight. We cannot allow multi-million-dollar explosives to run on our defense. That prenup better be tight.
I don't think you even need it.
You don't think he needs a prenup marrying a 24-year-old? Sir.
Brooks, he's in love. This is love we're talking about.
Buddy.
I see this as from this is more to me like I'm not going to allegedly accuse this. If I were to marry someone who was in their late 70s, I wouldn't say, I'll divorce them. I would just go, you know what? We'll wait this out.
You're going to wait it out.
We'll be put on the wheel in no time.
Now, look, a prenup don't keep her from waiting it out. A prenup just keeps her from taking half his shit when she decides she wants to divorce him.
Correct.
Okay? So she can wait it out whenever she wants. Mm-hmm. But that's what she's going to have to do if we sign a prenup, which you're going to be with me till I croak if you want this $100 million.
The conversation we got into is like because we were talking about the other day, and this is another thing that you weren't able to talk about, how They have already sold out all their season tickets despite a 20% increase, 20% increase in price. Basically, they have already won the hire. North Carolina has already won this hire because it is monetarily paying off for them, no different than the Deion Sanders hire at Colorado. Now, with that, Deion Sanders brought a lot of publicity. He brought a lot of attention to this program. The thing with this is Bill Belichick is bringing publicity and everything to this program, whether it's good or bad, whatever you want to describe it as. But this one seems like it could go a different direction to where people do get tired of it.
You think Bill gets the hate watchers like Deion did?
It may not be Bill getting the hate watchers.
The numbers on the Colorado thing were like 50% Deion, 40% Deion fans, 60% of people that were watching to watch him fail. I don't know if Belichick gets that.
I think it's more just the entire.
I think Belichick's going to get the inquisitive viewer.
Yeah.
I wonder if this is going to work.
Yeah, I think it's more just the entire prospect of.
Can I ask that? Why is that?
Because Deion Sanders was still an up-and-coming coach.
Okay.
What
is getting undue credit, no different than his. I'm not going to call it disdain, but questions about Arch Manning.
Yeah,
we're anointing someone before they earn it.
Yeah,
that's why you think Deion got the hatred he did.
Well, and how loud they were about it
loud.
before.
That's it. Loud, boisterous, opinionated. We're going to be great. No, you're not. Shut down. Shut up. Pipe down.
Two completely different personalities. And it's also the media covered it. Like, I think people forget that when Colorado went 2-0 in that 2023 season, like they were saying, is Deion Sanders the next Nick Saban?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like stuff like that was leading to a lot of
They beat TCU and it was like, national title?
Yeah, that's exactly what it was.
Yeah.
So
but I mean, let Bill Belichick, one of the greatest of all time, be competitive this year, lose some close games.
Oh,
I mean,
boy.
they got the Indiana 2025 treatment. They got it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I mean, I bet Jordan was like, hey, Bill, have you seen this schedule? No different than Mama Sig was telling Papa Sig, hey, have you seen this Indiana schedule? It makes James Madison's schedule look like a gauntlet. So we'll see. Ping pong, back to me. Best quarterback I saw. Unfortunately, two 2027s. Look, I like the 26 class in state. Jace Johnson down there he's 2027. Excuse me, the kid down there at Thomas County Central is really, really good. I think his last name's Johnson, too. That's why I got that mixed up. I think he's really good. The best two quarterbacks I saw were 2027s, Kareem Huey and Teddy Gerard. Now, I think Kareem is a lot cleaner of a prospect. The ceiling on Gerard is unmatched. You Ohio State fans listening today for some random reason, I think your 27 commit's about to get shaken up. A little inside intel on that.
Interesting.
You know, Georgia offered him this past weekend.
Mm-hmm.
Ohio State's got a 27 commit. I have it on good authority that might be being reevaluated because of Teddy Gerard. He's 6'4", he's 220 pounds. He could spin it and has been able to spin it for a long time. I saw this kid at 13 years old, and he was a pro thrower mechanically. So there's that. He did miss some throws Friday night when I saw him last Friday. So we'll see that. Ping pong, back to y'all. What did I miss?
Along with, the proposed expansion of the college football playoff, the main thing that has been brought forth is seeding changes within the college football playoff.
Like a no doy, right?
Yeah.
Get rid of this bullshit where the top four conference champions automatically get the top four seeds. It was the stupidest thing in the world. You told us that you thought Boise State was the 10th best team in the college football playoff, and then you gave them the 4th overall seed. That has never happened in the history of brackets. It makes no sense. I get it. They did it to try to place importance on winning your conference title. It messed up your playoff. Now, it might not have messed it up that much because those teams ended up losing anyways, but they should have lost earlier. All right. I don't think Oregon should have been playing Ohio State the first time they played a game.
Yeah.
That's unfair.
I think the more significant thing that I took away after reading the article, and a lot of these things are still up in the air, like it's not official, but one thing that is kind of being pushed is that conference championship weekend is no longer just, all right, 2 best teams. It would also be 3rd and 4th best teams you're going to play to decide who is actually the 3rd best team in this conference, who's the 4th best, and therefore making it not this conversation of, man, it's a disadvantage to be playing in your conference championship because you're playing an extra game while the other guys are getting rest ahead of the college football playoff. Now it kind of levels the playing field a little bit.
No
more thoughts.
I agree.
Also, Greg Sankey and Tony Petitti can act like they don't run this sport, but every time they leak what they want 3 months later, Ross Dellinger is confirming that's what's coming down the pike. So I get what you're doing. I get that you're the communist dictator that is telling everybody you're not, and that this is still, everybody gets fair shake type of business, but that it's not the reality. Every time you speak, it gets put into motion. So you got that motion, twin, as the kids would say. Start acting like it. Don't, as we just said, I'm not going to say it twice. Don't pea foot around the situation. You big dog on campus. You BMOC. Act like it.
And then on top of that, in the article, it talks about how the Big Ten and the SEC are going to get 4 automatic bids.
Which is exactly what they told everyone that they were going to demand.
Yep.
And they also said, well, y'all get a voice this year. In 26, you won't. You signed that away. Does everyone remember that? I feel like people don't remember that. That all the other conferences have signed an agreement, and Notre Dame have signed an agreement that the Big Ten and the SEC get the say and the only say on what moves forward in college football. They've all agreed. You are superior. Yes, King, we will listen. Starting in 26. We'll act like we're big dog fighters for this year, but in 26, bow to the King.
And that's why it was funny in the article that it mentions how the Big 12 and the ACC, majority of them are okay moving forward with what is happening, but there are a select few that are like, all these other conferences are getting auto bids, but the majority is like, whatever you say, boss man, like that's what we're going to do, and then it slides in there. And also the G5 is like, we need another bid too. We need 2 teams in this thing. Like, shut up.
Yeah.
Get out
You don't
of here.
need any teams in this.
Ping pong back. Coach I would coach for. So about 5 years ago, this segment would be Coach I'd play for. I think I'm changing this. I'm not like I did the Shane game. I played for that guy. I'm not doing that anymore.
Oh.
It's going to be I'd join his staff.
The playing days
If he
are
called
over.
me and gave me a job offer, I'd join his staff. None of these high school coaches apply because maybe in like 10 years. But I think with this media thing's going pretty well. I might jump the shark for a college job one day, boys. But not right now. Not the goal. But coach I would coach for, Josh Niblett.
Oh.
Yeah, at Gainesville. I'm 11 on Gainesville 2 times in a row. No shocker. That guy. And any high school coach that tells you he ain't great, they're a hater. And they know he's good, but they're a hater.
I've only heard good things.
Yeah.
What makes it to where you want to play for or
the
coach
kids,
for?
the kids call it aura. There are some, like Kirby has this intimidation factor about him because you know he will eventually explode upon you. If you're not on your P's and Q's, this guy will blow his top on you. And that makes you disciplined, and that makes you do these things. Niblett has this aura about him where that guy is taking care of his shit at such a, and I shouldn't even cuss what I'm talking about because he don't like cussing. That guy is taking care of his business at such a rate that I have to as well. And that's their, like, they don't yell at practice. Coach Honeycutt's a lunatic. He'll yell the entire time. But Niblett does not raise his voice. And everybody else, the whole team operates as if they know he will come down, but he never does. So it's the only guy I've ever been around that's like that. Most of these coaches are high strung. They're absolutely insane. If the team is full of discipline, it's because they got a dictator running it. He doesn't feel that way.
Like that.
So, ping pong, back to you. What'd I miss?
Boy, did you miss the Hugh Freeze comments?
You sent it to me today. I don't like these. I don't like these.
That's kind of the collective thought.
Now, it should be noted, Hugh Freeze going through some stuff right now.
Yes.
Okay?
Let's
Let's get that out on the
We
upfront.
talked about
I
that.
want to reiterate that. If you're looking at Hugh Freeze and you like, that's what's, I mean, he's dealing with some stuff right now personally and some health things going on. So, but these comments, I don't like this. I don't like this at all. Not after you just asked your fan base to pay for 2 top 10 classes. Do you have the quote directly again to refresh
I can
the audience?
pull them up.
So, anyways, I'll refresh it. I'll give it to the audience. Don't worry about it. There is an annual golf tournament in Alabama every single year. All of the famous Southeastern Conference coaches come back to it and play in it. And the only real media that's available to go out there is the next round because they're the biggest radio show in the state of Alabama, local. They got a tie to it. I see their content every single year. They get every single coach that's there interviewed. The rest of the media, not allowed to be there. So they got a plug. Shout out to the next round. I love when I go on that show. It's an awesome show. Anyways, they had Hugh Freeze on. And they asked Hugh Freeze, how do you feel about your fan base having expectations? And Hugh Freeze said, you know, I'm not crazy. I understand that we got to make a bowl. So you got to go 6-6. That's what it is.
That gives me the same energy of when, like, you ever look at, like, a big apparatus of something, like a big bowl, and someone asks, man, how many do you think is in there? And you go, it's at least 15. Like, yeah, of course it's at least that, at the very minimum, that's what it is. Like, that's the same vibe I get from that. It's like, we have to at least make a bowl.
So here's what I was thinking today. I was thinking we would act a little bit here, all right? And you will lob this question to me as if I were indeed Hugh Freeze, okay? You want to do this?
Okay.
So let's try this. Go ahead.
Coach, what are you expecting out of Jackson Arnold this year, a moving of quarterback position for you, a new starter, new face?
Time out. The question was expectations.
I got it.
Oh, you want the same question?
I want that same exact question.
I thought we were just playing a different
No,
game.
we are staging this identical.
step
I'm going
out.
to show you exactly what Hugh should have done. Let's try this again.
Coach, you're entering the 2025 season this year. How do you feel about these certain expectations that are being placed on your team heading into year 3?
Listen, here's the deal, guys. I'm not crazy. I understand that when I took this job at Auburn, the expectations were to win a national title. And I have no doubt about it that during my time here, we will inevitably do that. But here's the deal, okay? Everyone knows what I took over. The administration staff understands what I took over. We didn't have a top 25 recruiting classes for 3 straight years when I got here. We have 2 back-to-back top 10 recruiting classes. The expectation is to win a national title. We will do that. I trust the processes that we have in place. Eventually, we will break that down.
Coach, I'd just like to interject a little bit. We know what the deal was when you did take over this program, but Auburn has had a top 25 recruiting class the previous 5 years before you got there.
He lied about that?
He lied.
He lied?
Lied.
He lied?
He lied.
Oh, my God.
That was
Hugh,
the best
what?
part.
He lied?
That was the best part of it.
The last time Auburn did not have a top 25 class, Hugh Freeze was entering his final year as head coach of Briarcrest High School. That was 2004.
He lied.
Hugh.
Tough look, isn't it?
That's bad.
And this is what we eventually got to of like nobody
He lied?
Nobody stooped.
Bold-faced. Red-faced. Lied?
No different.
Not even was it like, they were 23. 2019, 13th ranked class. 2020, 8th ranked class. 2021, Brian Harsin years, 18th ranked class. 2022 was the closest they got to being outside the top 25. It was the 21st ranked class.
Yeah, cook him. I tried to defend the man.
And look, we
lied.
We agreed that, look, we know what it was when you took over. Those top 25 classes that were there were not there anymore. We know that was not a top 25 roster in college football when you took it over. But
Damn, Hugh.
straight up lying, man. And then also at the end of it saying we should have won some games this year, or I shouldn't say we should have. We could have won some games, and then doing the PR kiss ass at the end.
I practiced this segment this morning or this afternoon because I had a joke about, he's talking about recruiting. Everybody knows it's about the Jimmies and the Joes, and that's what I do. I recruit great Jimmies and Joes and the occasional Jesse and Jamaica. Allegations, don't know if they've been proven, but the phone records were rather damning.
Yes.
I would say so, yes.
Do we have
Buddy.
another ping pong?
Ping pong, back to me.
Yeah.
I think this is the last one.
Hey, just a noted tip. This applies for Bill Belichick. This applied definitely to Hugh Freeze back in 2013. If the school issued that computer to you, that phone to you, that goddamn Apple Watch to you, that is government property that can be legally, publicly requested of. All right? So don't be buying the escorts on the school phone, Hugh. Don't be emailing your girlfriend about how you run all of the stuff at North Carolina, Bill. Don't do none of that, because eventually it will be found out by a nosy reporter who all they have to do is submit a public request record. So there you go. Back to me. Where was I at? Most interesting conversation I had with a college football coach on the trail. This is big. I let you know about the agents deciding timelines.
Yeah.
Hey, we're going to open it up. A lot of schools are calling me about you. The market's increasing. We're going to open these things up. I gave you that intel a couple weeks ago.
Wait,
also,
before you get too deep, was this a high school coach or a college coach?
No, these are all college football coaches'
Okay,
conversations.
okay.
This is all me talking to a college football coach. So yeah, told you about the agents. These are all P4 coaches, by the way. No shots at the mid-major coaches. I love on you guys as well. Georgia apparently This didn't come from a Georgia coach. This came from another coach that recruits against Georgia.
Okay.
Apparently, Georgia's going to take a shitload of high school DBs, like maybe 5, maybe 6. Now,
they're on track to do it.
every time I hear one of these about Georgia, I call Georgia, fact check, Fugazi. It ain't going to be that many, but we're going to take a lot. I don't know what that means. So
more.
There's that.
That's what it means.
Yeah, we're going
to take more than that.
We're going to take more than that. They're going to take a lot of high school DBs this year. I think it's because they're expecting a lot of departures via the NFL draft pretty quickly. Told you about the Ole Miss quarterback thing. I thought that was hilarious.
Yeah.
Like, Coach, literally, if I don't have 2 more bodies, we can't practice this year. Tough shit. We're taking 2 more quarterbacks. I got to have them. I got to have these quarterbacks. I don't care if we're thin at 5 positions. We're getting Qs. That's Lane Kiffin. PJ Fleck is really that crazy. I've always thought PJ Fleck was
This is like
lunatic.
the 3rd or 4th time you've had
Yeah,
a
it
story
just keeps getting
cements it.
confirmed. And it's not from Minnesota football coaches because they don't talk about their boss.
They're scared
But
shitless.
anybody who's ever coached in Minnesota, they got some stuff to tell you about PJ Fleck. So there's that. Also, by the way, I think I would drink the Kool-Aid. I think I'd drink.
You get hooked?
I think I'd drink the Sprite that he told everyone was a magic elixir. Do y'all remember that story?
Yes.
He made everybody put Sprite in a cup and told him it was a magic elixir. I would be drinking the hell about the elixir. At 19, if you would have just gave me a bunch of coachisms, they're all over my wall. I live by coachisms.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I would have definitely been drinking the elixir. But he is a lunatic.
Okay.
Everything I've heard. The most interesting thing to me as we get what seems to be a bullet point, or at least a period on this House versus NCAA thing, every coach I talk to, not a damn clue. Not a clue. It's their literal livelihood, and they have no idea what's about to happen.
Do you think that's just because they're so wrapped up in what their job is?
Yeah, but you would think if how you acquire players is about to drastically change,
Yeah.
you might be informed on it. You might want to know what's coming down the path. But no, is it path or pat?
I would assume path.
What's coming down pat? Help me out, chat.
But they got people for that. They got people that will tell them.
I think that's all the.
Oh, I got 2 more categories.
Oh.
Coolest thing I saw. The number of coaches that I see every year out on this trail that confirm that they listen to this show. That it makes me really happy. Because I know they don't ingest anything else. They can't stand it. When they listen to some guy just doing narrative talk instead of ball talk, it makes their head explode. So the fact that it's more and more every single year that pulled me off to the side and say, hey, man, I love what you do. I watch it all the time. You do great stuff. That makes me really, really happy. That's a really cool thing to see. Another cool thing I saw, alligators.
Oh.
I saw alligators. Not Florida Gator coaches. I saw them too. But I saw alligators.
Modern dinosaurs.
Yeah. Little Dino. Yeah, saw some of those guys. Kept my distance.
Good idea.
Kept my distance. Another cool thing that I saw. I was asked in the chat earlier about Landon Gee. 2029 offensive tackle at Milton. Already got a Georgia offer. I think he's already got an Alabama offer. And it's not just, hey, you're a big kid. I'm going to offer you. This is going to be a great football player. And the coolest thing that I saw, I don't know about you guys, but when I was a freshman, I was very timid. Most freshmen are, no matter how good they are, they're very timid. First high school practice, first time like really going. I watched Milton during that kid's first high school scrimmage. 15 snaps in, I look over, he's in a fist fight. Oh. He's in a fist fight and winning. He's in a fist fight and winning at 14 years old, fighting a rising senior. I was on the phone with an SEC coach that was calling me about him, and he was like, hey, how's Gee look? And I'm literally, I said, oh, my God, he's fighting right now. He's fighting right now, coach. I didn't know he had some shit to him. Kid's got some shit to him.
Dude, if you were a rising senior and you lose to an incoming freshman in a practice fight.
What if the
living that
upcoming
down.
freshman's 6'6", 260?
Don't matter.
The optics are
Don't
still
matter?
bad,
Don't
dude.
matter, man.
Still bad. That's a 14-year-old, bro. You
You're right.
drive a car, and that's a child.
This isn't a cool thing that I saw, but it's a cool thing that I did. I rode a four-wheeler.
Oh.
Was it your first time? Or
No.
was
It's the
making
first time in a long time.
Well, just for the heck of it.
Yep.
Yeah, where were you that did that?
Jeremiah Calloway's house. That's where I stayed last
Ah.
night. Shout out to my boy Jeremiah. Love you, buddy. Last note about the recruiting trip, and it happens every year to me this time of the year. I'm chewing again. I'm back on the Copenhagen. I'm back on that Copenhagen wintergreen. And here's the deal. Something about standing around a football field, just standing around a football field, makes me crave some Cope wintergreen. So I made a list. Top 5 things that make me want to put a chew in. You ready?
Oh, I'm
Number
ready.
5, taking a shit. Any bowel movement requires some tobacco. It's a natural diuretic. You don't know about this because you're not a chewer. Every time I take a poo, this might be better with a chew in my mouth. Number 4, fishing. Anytime I'm going out there fishing, it's ripping lips and packing dips. It's a two thing.
Understandable.
It's a pair, you know? Can't have peanut butter without jelly. You know what I mean?
I got you.
Ripping lips and packing dips. Number 3, mowing the lawn. Anytime I'm outside doing any type of yard work, it feels right. It just feels right. Number 2, football practice. Already talked about it. Got to. Anytime I'm out, I just get to itching. Got to have one in. Number 1, near and dear to my heart, ain't done it in a while. Running a jackhammer, baby. Running a jack. Now, the problem with this, concrete dust. Okay? Because you're spitting, your mouth's open, you got to chew in, got to watch out. Concrete dust getting in your mouth. That's silica bad for you.
Yeah. Probably not too good for you. It's an interesting list. I can't say I can relate.
I thought
to
you were
that
going to say that the vibrations from the jackhammer just makes it explode in your mouth.
No, it's like because you got ear protection in, and you're doing jackhammer is a very mindless activity because all you're doing is chipping away concrete, right? And not trying not in my line of work, trying not to blow holes through the bridge deck. Back in the day, it's not my line of work no more, thanks to you guys. But anyways, yeah. If I ran a jackhammer today, I'd last about 3 hours before my hands were completely disintegrated, but I'd have a chew in the whole time.
Lovely. Things you never would get if Brooks wasn't here.
It's true. I could not make that list.
All right, y'all show now. Where are we going?
Would you like to continue with our college football questionnaire, Kirby?
I would like to do the question. We've got 4 different teams this time around. We got for team 1, Penn State. Question 1 I have for them: does Drew Aller elevate this roster enough? We talked about it last year. It felt like Tyler Warren was the driving force between the offense last year. Katron Allen was as well, as long as Nick Singleton. Can Drew Aller elevate that now? Because we looked around, we talked about it. There's not a lot of weapons in the pass catching department. So I'm not as much worried, is Drew Aller going to be a detriment? We've seen what he is at this point. He's experienced enough to where it's not going to be an issue. Does he elevate them enough? Number 2, where does the production come from without Tyler Warren? We talked about it again. Weapons, not a lot of them available. So where are you going to get that production without a Tyler Warren guy who, first-round tight end, that's a big, big hole. You can just ask Georgia. The 2024 season looked very different without Brock Bowers. Number 3, how does your defense change under Jim Knowles? This was probably one of the bigger offseason hires as far as coordinators go, nabbing him from the Ohio State Buckeyes. I'm very interested to see what that does to their defense just in year 1 alone. What percentage of your offensive production does Katron Allen and Nick Singleton account for? That's my next biggest question, because if you're a 1-2 punch the entire time, that's fine. Ultimately, though, teams are going to start loading the box on you, which takes you back to question 1, does Drew Aller elevate your roster enough? So that's going to be a very, very big indicative thing for Penn State's offense this year. And the final question I have for them is, can James Franklin get out of the, quote, big game shadow? It seems like for 8 to 9 years now, since he's been the Penn State head coach, it's always been, they're going to win the majority of games they're supposed to. Then you get up to these, quote, unquote, big games, the Ohio States, the Big Ten championships of the world, and they always fall flat.
Look, I am not the biggest James Franklin fan in the world. I don't think he's the greatest coach. He's a top 6, 7 guy in college football for me if I were to sit down and do them, somewhere in that range. And he gets labeled this guy that loses big games. Can someone tell me when he had the better team in those games?
He hasn't. But the thing is, they expect
I'm all
this year.
for it. Like, hey, get over the hump. Beat Ohio State. Shut up until you do it. Beat Michigan. Win the Big Ten. I'm here for everybody saying that. But he has not had the better team in any of those situations. So all you're doing is shitting on a guy for not pulling off upsets consistently. He wins games he's supposed to. Every other coach that wins games that they're supposed to, you guys love. Y'all all rave about. Everyone's raving about Dan Lanning. I love Dan as much as the next guy. But Dan's had more talented teams and lost games. This guy doesn't do that. So I'm here for it. And now this year's different.
Absolutely.
This year's completely different. He has a better team on paper than everybody in his conference. I think. He has the most consistency coming back. He has the fewest questions about his football team. I think he's, as the chat saying, I think he's properly rated. He's a guy that wins games he's supposed to.
Yeah.
Which is the job, in my opinion.
And the unfortunate thing about it, while you're completely right, is the narrative around it will always be the big game got him.
Yeah.
So it's until then.
But like, dude, do people do this to Lane Kiffin?
Yes.
No.
But people don't. I don't think people expect Lane to win.
No.
So when he pops off the lip, people make fun of him for that. They make fun of him for get your popcorn ready. They make fun of him for losing against Florida. They make fun of him for losing games he's not supposed to. But they do not put this on Lane, where he gets beat by Alabama by 14 points and everybody goes, ha, 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 look at Lane Kiffin, never going to do it. They do this to James Franklin, though.
Yeah.
And he doesn't lose games that he's not supposed to. He wins them. So I just, look, I'm got to get over the hump. This year, you got expectations from me. I preseason ranked you too. I'm with the this year stuff. But the whole, he can't win big games, buddy, he was a 6-point underdog in almost all of them. Almost all of them.
I would still say they're the third best team in the Big Ten, in my opinion. Like,
Yeah.
I think that if they played Ohio,
You're still taking Ohio State and Oregon today.
yeah, I think that they would be favored. I think that Ohio State and Oregon would be favored against Penn State, in my opinion. That's just me going into this year. Like, I still think, and that's why I had them 7th in my top 10. I think they're a good football team, but I had Oregon and Ohio State ahead of them. So my expectations are kind of the same for Penn State.
Keeping it in the Big Ten, Team 2, we have questions for Oregon. Question 1 I have. Penn State, Indiana, USC. What happens in those 3 games? Because other than that, you should go 12-0. Those are the 3 challenging games that you have in your schedule this year. Other than that, it's basically, all right, you're going to be more talented, like you said, more talented than every team you face. You're probably going to be a better coach than every team you play. So if you can get through those 3 games, I would suggest that you're a 9-0 football, or excuse me, a 12-0 football team. Question 2, what does Dante Moore look like at quarterback? The interesting thing about Dante Moore is I know that Oregon kind of relies on the transfer portal way to go. Dante Moore didn't start last year. How rusty is he in comparison to a guy like Bo Nix, who came straight from Auburn, a guy like Dylan Gabriel?
Like, people will say he started at UCLA and he's got starting experience. Those are scars.
Yes.
Those are not highlights.
Those are probably detrimental.
Not good feelings. Those don't give him warm and fuzzies from what happened at UCLA as a true freshman.
Number 3, other than Evan Stewart and Nakarian Moore, who's going to catch passes for this team? They obviously will have talent that's going to step up, but I think that's going to be a very, very big must when you are introducing a quarterback that, like we said, has scars from their previous team and hasn't started in a year. Number 4, do you stumble that hard again in the postseason? I think that we even forget that last year the Big Ten championship wasn't that good for them as well. You won a shootout with Penn State, but they ran all over you. And people kind of talk about how that Oregon defense was a brick wall last year. They didn't look that way in the Big Ten championship, and they certainly didn't look that way in the Rose Bowl. Question 5 is, did the defense maintain production? We're at the point now where you kind of are in this territory of Dan Lanning is one of these defensive masterminds. Strong defenses are what you always expect from them. You expect it from Kirby Smart teams. You expect it from Nick Saban teams. It's the cornerstone of what these teams' identities are. I think if you get year 3 and maintain this production, you'll cement that as Dan Lanning as a head coach.
Is there any questions about Evan Stewart in there?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Other than, who's going to be
decided. When is that going to happen? Like, Evan Stewart was supposed to be a freak coming out of high school, and it's shown signs, but other than NCAA 25, I don't think he out here doing it. No. But he a dog on that video game.
Team number 3 is the Florida State Seminoles. First question I have for you. How much of an upgrade is Thomas Castellanos from DJ?
One of the best quarterbacks in the country, if you ask him.
Oh, boy.
That's what he's setting up to be.
Oh, boy.
That's what they're saying. That's what word on the street is.
Segue question: that can Gus Malzahn revolutionize your offense? I know that Gus Malzahn has kind of been known for utilizing these dual threat running quarterbacks. It hasn't been great the last few years.
So here's the good news for Gus. First time in 10 years, 12 years that he's been a coordinator and not a head coach.
Yeah, since 2012.
And I like Gus. Okay, I think Gus is a good offensive mind. He ain't got no business being a head coach. Okay, if you know anybody who's ever been around Gus, they would tell you not much of a socialite. Not much of a guy who's going to stand in front of a booster club and really get the boys going. You know what I mean? Kind of introverted savant. I think nowadays, weird. Okay, different would be the word I would use around Gus Malzahn. Gus Malzahn's ideal day is spending 10 hours in his office watching film and writing up concepts. He ain't got no time for none of the stuff required to be a head coach. Now, I guarantee he loved the idea of being a head coach. I guarantee he loved the money of being a head football coach. But there is a reason he left UCF. He was not fired from UCF.
Yes.
He chose to leave UCF to go be an offensive coordinator at a downtrending football program. He didn't want to be a head coach anymore. I think he's going to be freed up to get back to whatever good Gus Malzahn offenses look like, because it did not go like it was supposed to at UCF.
No, it did not.
Offensively, it was abhorrent. It did not. It was ups and downs. It was inconsistent. I do think Castellanos is a good quarterback for that system. All the other stuff around it, though, I'm like, whoa. Like, I like Deuce Robinson coming out of high school. I ain't like what it's been 2 years in college.
No.
I liked Squirrel White as a freshman. I don't like what it's been the last 2 years in college. So, like, I feel that way about all their retreads, all their transfer guys. I'm like, I liked it. I used to like it. Don't like what the proof of concept has been the last 2 years.
No.
When I picture Gus Malzahn, going back to the original point of what he is as a person, I always picture the coach from Waterboy. Like, that is who I picture. Just a weird.
Farmer Fran?
No, not
Or
that
Henry
one.
Winkler's character.
Yes.
You talking about this one? Where he sits on the ball
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
and he does that one?
I was
He
like,
fakes
what?
to the left. No, he fakes to the
No, no, no,
right.
no.
He thinks about faking.
I'm having a
That's
panic.
how I
Where am I?
envisioned Gus Malzahn.
I'm having a panic attack.
Like just sitting in a dark room watching
room
film,
is-
drawing up plays. That's what he needs to be
I
doing.
don't know where I am.
Question 3. What does week 1 against Alabama look like? I think people forget that.
I had a Gus Malzahn story I didn't tell you.
Do you want to tell it now?
Yeah. I was told from a source that I trust with my life, might even be blood, that during Gus Malzahn's time at Auburn, during practice, any building on campus that had a window that was able to see the practice field had to be closed. They had security that would go into each individual building and pull the shades down. He thought he was constantly being watched.
How many cameras do you think that man has in his house?
I think it's the other way around. I don't think he wants cameras. He probably thinks cameras can be hacked.
Off the grid.
I bet he is. I bet he got a doomsday bunker. I guarantee it. Gus is a weird cat,
Yeah.
but he's brilliant. Most brilliant people I meet are weird as shit.
Most people I've met named Gus are weird too.
That's not a bad shout. Continue.
Question 3. What does week 1 look like against Alabama? And all the dismantling of Florida State, I think people forget that that's a week 1 matchup in Doak Walker. Now, no one's expecting Florida State to win that game. No one's expecting the upset. What does it look like, though? Is the fan base invigorated? Do you put up a fight? That's
That was
what
my
question
first question. Do fans show up game 1 bags on head?
Mm-hmm.
Because it took game 4 when Memphis came to town. We were in Kentucky.
Yeah, we were watching it.
So it's like game 3.
Yeah.
They already had bags on head. So do you show up bags on head game 1, week 0 versus Bama at home?
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying yes. I'm saying
think?
there's at least 3 or 4 fans show up bags
Oh
on
yeah,
head.
I could see
fire
a few of
Norvell.
them for sure.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely going to be some people like, dude, if we bring our bags, we might get on TV just in case. But if that, God forbid, that game be close, they'll be cheering in the stands.
And didn't he fire like 6 coaches last
He did.
season?
He has a new
So this is it.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't win this year, they're going to cook you.
Yeah.
We've always talked about when you start walking other coaches to the plank, you're following them, brother. You are following. You're running out of scapegoats down there. So you're the last one.
Pretty much segues into question 4 and 5. 1, does Tony White improve your defense? That was ugly last year. And question 5, I can't believe we're asking this after they're a season and a half removed from almost being a playoff team, but can you reach bowl eligibility? If you replace Hugh Freeze with Mike White on those topics, if we got to reach a bowl this year, all those things, like that would sound appropriate. But if I think going 6-6, at least you can say like we had a 2-10 season last year, we have this improvement. But again, is that going to be the standard? Final team we have is Syracuse.
Can we save that team? Because I want to make sure we hit on Dabo Swinney. Or do we want to go ahead and hit this team and then we can follow Dabo Swinney?
I think we can.
Oh, we're in no hurry to transition. There is no transition tonight. We're just carrying out the topics. We're gonna smooth move into local hour here in a little bit, but we did a lot of local stuff in that first 30 minutes
Absolutely.
of today's show. So tonight's show is a smorgasbord. It's not split up and segmented like normal.
Continue, sir.
I don't know what you're gonna do with podcast. Maybe just
Just
one
one
big
big episode.
One big upload.
Nice and easy.
Our
It'll
podcast
feel like a
fans
Bill
are gonna-
Simmons episode.
Podcast fans are going to hate
The
that.
Pod God?
The Pod God. Name drop. Shout out to the Ringer.
Team number 4, Syracuse. Question 1, how many showers does Fran Brown take this season? No, it's just a roundabout
Over
way.
under 8.5.
8. I go under.
8.5 showers. Now, that's just a roundabout way to ask how many wins they have. But
I think 8's a good number for them this year.
question 2. How big
Does
of
he
a...
let himself shower on Sunday?
Got to.
He's got to shower at some point, yeah.
Or do you not
is it the
shower until you get the dub?
Is it the 24-hour
And
rule?
is he sleeping on the couch?
Skin's got to be dry.
Because, like, if you ain't showering after coaching a football game, no way you're crawling in the bed, or your wife is letting you crawl in the bed like that.
There's no way no one's asked. I can't believe Syracuse beat reporters. What are you doing? Why has no one asked this yet?
These are the important questions.
I mean, hey, coach, do you sleep with your wife after games? You think that goes over smoothly?
Not how you're
Maybe
supposed
not.
to
It
phrase
goes over
that.
smoothly.
I think that's
You
not how
say,
you pose
does
that
your wife
question.
appreciate you not showering after games?
No, never mind. Fran would probably be like, she enjoys it. She likes me
What?
smelling like a man. I don't know.
Oh, my.
Yeah,
No.
No?
No.
that's when I do my best
Question
work.
2. What'd you say?
Don't worry about it. Question 2.
How big of a Kyle McCord and LaQuint Allen size hole does this offense have this year? Those are two big contributors.
Who is that other name?
LaQuint Allen, the running
What?
back.
Is it spinning again?
Spin it again.
Yeah. Quinn Allen, they had
Studio's falling.
they had a fourth-round tight end get drafted too.
Mm-hmm.
Jackson Meeks
Meeks.
went for 1,100 yards.
Mm-hmm. And the tight end.
By the way, the audience hears that.
No, I muted it.
Oh, okay.
So I turned it off.
Bet.
Sick. Question 3. Does the rest of the receiving room step up with Jackson Meeks leaving? Jackson Meeks was leading receiver last year, but they still have a lot of returning pieces from that year. Question 4. Is it feasible for you to compete in the ACC this year? We've all talked about how they're kind of one of these conferences now where it's kind of anyone's game. Clemson should be the top of the team here, but other than that, like, you go to the ACC championship, you're competing for the ACC. So it's very interesting there. And this is my final question for them. How many of these teams can you play spoiler for? Tennessee, Miami, Notre Dame, Clemson, SMU. 4 of those 5 teams went to the playoff last year. All 5 of them were in the playoff race throughout the season. You would have to imagine that of those 5 teams, Syracuse isn't going 0-5 on those. They're going to get one of these teams.
They're also one of the only, 3 football teams that just got their starting quarterback.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Right? It's Tennessee, it's UCLA for obvious reasons, and it's Syracuse. Syracuse was going to play the 18-year-old sophomore
Yeah.
from LSU that transferred in, and now they're obviously going to play Angeli. That kid doesn't transfer there without promises, I would
For
imagine.
sure.
Correct.
So,
So those are my 5 questions for 4 teams. That concludes this week's questionnaire.
hell yeah. Love the college football questionnaire. It's a good segment.
Jay, well, you want to get
It's a good
in,
segment.
you want to get on some Dabo Sweeney news?
Man, Paul Finebaum, known to be on the off-season heaters,
He's
man.
cooled off.
He went the entire offseason last year firing everybody, every single head coach that he could think of. And then going into this offseason, too, he hopped right back onto it. He had some questions about Georgia, Kirby Smart, how Bobo's the reason he's going to be the downfall of that program, all that stuff. Well, we have a turning of the tide for one of these head coaches because Dabo Sweeney, no longer hated by one Paul Finebaum, in fact, quite loved now by Paul Finebaum, and says that he kind of likes him a little bit more now. And so I'll go ahead and read this quote for you
Hold on.
guys.
Never mind. I'll show. We can laugh about this after the show. Some quotes from young men don't need to be put out on Twitter. Like, never mind. Go ahead.
No,
Sorry.
I can't wait to hear what that is.
I know who tweeted that, and I'm gonna give him some shit after this show.
Okay. I think what Dabo Sweeney has done in the last 2 years is remarkable, Finebaum said. I thought there was a moment in time where it looked like it had slipped away from him. But I think going out, he ratcheted up the staff. I think he was good to loyal. He was too loyal to a few people. I think getting Kay Klubnik in there was a huge move. And I think he finally opened up his own stubbornness. That's the quote.
What changed about Dabo Sweeney?
I think it's interesting that he said the last 2 years.
Nothing.
What is changed?
Nothing about Dabo has
He
changed.
took one transfer
One.
player to pacify everyone criticizing him. It's not like this year Clemson football was a dramatic turnaround from what it's been.
This the same guy that at the start of last year told the world that this is the best roster he's ever had.
According to his metrics.
According to his in-house Clemson standard metrics. Nothing about Dabo has changed. The only thing about Dabo that's changed, honestly, is my opinion about him.
Oh.
I was so anti-Dabo, and I'm still, to an extent, anti-Dabo. I would not build my roster the way that Dabo Sweeney does. I would do things very, very differently than the way that Clemson goes about it. But here's something that I respect the hell out of Dabo for doing. Dabo has stood 10 toes down on I'm not doing this shit. I am not taking transfers. I am not having kids transfer out unless they just absolutely have to leave. I am not going to be out here talking about how much money I'm paying you. I am not going to this. I'm not going to that. I'm going to do things the way that I want to do them. And he stood through all of this and talked his shit for 5 straight years about, I ain't doing it, Tyler from Spartanburg. And guess what? He going to get out of this smelling like roses. He's going to get out of this with the worst season happening 9-3. That's it. He's going to keep dog walking the ACC. He's going to keep going to college football playoffs, doing it his way. And guess what? We got regulation coming, boys and girls. We're going right back to a very standard form of player acquisition strategies, a very uniform form of player acquisition strategies, a very similar standpoint to where Clemson was dominating. Clemson had top 5 classes annually prior to all this NIL transfer portal bullshit that Dabo stood on 10 toes and said, I ain't doing it. And here we are. He coming out the other side winning.
I mean, we talked about on the show the only thing that you can really ask for in college football is consistency. And
that's all we ever demand.
I think Dabo Swinney has been the model of consistency. Not consistency has kind of been to his detriment at times, but the fact is that, like you said, he stayed 10 tones down on the things he believes, and it seems like there's a light at the end of the tunnel.
And that's why
if Dabo doesn't get in the portal, he cannot compete in the national stage. Guys, he was in a quarterfinal last year. He was 14 points away, 2 kind of bad possessions away from taking Texas to the wire. What are y'all talking about? Like, I understand they weren't a top 4 team last year, right? But they might be this year, and it ain't changed. He took one kid from Purdue who looks like a Clemson football player, if you know what I mean. So,
and too, like, I know that there's a lot of hype around.
Dabo Swinney killed my dog. Hey, you watch. Never mind.
There's a lot of hype around Clemson going into this year, but I think, and you and I have specifically mentioned this, of the hype, at least from this show about Clemson, stems from the fact that they're going to be successful in their conference.
Oh, they're going to dominate.
They're going to be successful in their conference,
Mr.
and they're going to
Skeptical
make
over
a playoff. But we're not picking them to go to the national title and for Kate Klubman to go and win a Heisman or anything like that. And that's what you ask of Dabo Swinney, and what you ask of that program is dominate the ACC and make the college football playoff. And he's going to meet those standards, or I expect him to meet those standards this year. But
he's won that conference 9 out of 11 years.
Mm-hmm.
Saying, I ain't doing it. Y'all can laugh at me. Y'all can talk about how I'm not changing for the modern times. Paul Finebaum can go on his show and say we will never eclipse 9-3. Y'all can do what you want. I'm going to come out the other side smelling like roses. Even if I don't like the way he does it, I appreciate that he was consistent the entire time.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I thought it was so ironic that
Yeah.
Bomb included. I think he finally opened up on his own
He
stubbornness.
changed nothing.
He
He
changed
didn't
literally
do that
nothing.
at all.
And in
Changed
fact,
nothing.
like this year alone, like I would understand if Clemson went undefeated this year. If Clemson had a really, really good regular season and just fell short against Texas. Clemson was not even in the conference title game until Miami opened the door for them. Clemson got their heads bashed in by the first, second, or third best team in the SEC, depending on who you ask. Clemson lost to South Carolina at home. Clemson got pushed around by a Louisville team that they were better than at home. In this season did Paul Finebaum go, Dabo Swinney's changed. I kind of like this guy now. I think his job's safe. And
the result,
Yeah.
got into a playoff, and this year he's preseason ranked for top 5.
And the only reason they got into a playoff was because of the formatting and the fact that Miami opened the door for you.
Look, I think ESPN, because of probably the contract, puts Paul in some tough spots every once in a while.
For sure.
He's on air too many.
Yeah, if you're
he's
on air
for
too
9
much.
hours.
You can't say
He's
nice
asked
things
to talk about way too
constantly.
many things. And yes, you can.
Well,
yes, you can.
but
there are people in this business that are out here just saying nice things. But
Are
that
they
is not
alive
Paul
as much as
Finebaum.
Paul Finebaum, though?
No,
Okay.
no. Some of them work like 3 times a week.
Okay.
So
And it's also not that you can't just say nice things. You also can't fire coaches and then come back a year and a half later and say, you know what? I like the job that they're doing. I approve. When really, realistically, nothing has changed.
Maybe we're getting a nice, chilled Paul Finebaum now. Maybe he's just off the heater. He's kicking it. No longer.
He's not as bitter anymore. Does Alabama have 2020 vibes?
Who said it?
So
I'm guessing it's Deontay Lawson. He's got to be the only one left on the roster.
it's him. It's
All right, look.
it's Ja Marion Latham.
I seen Deontay Lawson play football.
It's not Deontay Lawson. It's
It's
Ja
not him that
Ja
said
Marion
this?
Latham.
Who dat?
He's entering his 6th season in 2025.
So he just been around.
Has he played?
He
Let me
appeared,
check out
he
the
appeared
R
in one
lads.
game against Mississippi State as a freshman when Alabama went undefeated, and has since been kind of a role player.
Okay.
His quote,
Where did he say this? On the podcast?
he said during an all-in Alabama spring football documentary on SEC Network.
Oh.
I like the work that everybody's putting in. I like the energy from the coaches and everything. It's the same type of vibe that we had in 2020. I'm really just excited to put everything together and get back started with summer workouts.
I don't even see him on the R lads.
2020 vibes, though.
He would know. He would know what the vibes are like
So
then.
I'm guessing Ryan Williams is Devontae Smith.
Where are the
I mean,
other
you could
ones?
sell me on
Todd
that.
Simpson is giving Mac Jones.
I'll give him that.
You could sell me on those
Waited
two.
around forever, kind of QB managey, game managery, but like gonna put up stats. Great college quarterback. Might be drafted second, third round.
Now find me the two other elite wide receivers.
Yeah, I don't think there's a Jalen
Hey,
Waddle.
no, they love the Holden kid.
That's
Trayshawn
fine.
Holden is good.
They love that kid. They say I heard somebody say he's on par with Ryan Williams.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh boy. Damn it! Maybe they are gonna.
Bama's back.
Maybe it is 20.
So back.
Maybe it is 2020 all over again, dude.
Who's Will Anderson?
Rousseau.
Dude.
And don't tell me LT Overton.
Quay Rousseau,
Yeah, maybe.
I guess.
Yeah. Who's Nick Saban? I'm just kidding.
Kalen DeBoer, dude. He's
Caleb
changing it
DeBoer.
up, dude. The vibes are the same. The way they're coaching them.
Who's the coronavirus?
I don't know. NIL.
It's a good question. NIL maybe.
Infecting everybody.
It's a asterisk title. Doesn't count. They didn't have true road games. Wouldn't have won it in a regular year.
Played fewer games.
You know what? It's on par with those gas station national titles they claim from the 60s.
I mean, I'm low key. I don't hate that take, but well, there's some Bama fans in the chat that will.
I mean, they played a 6-game winning Ohio State team. Come on.
Yeah, look.
That had the gall to run a Mike linebacker down the middle of the field with Devontae Smith.
Now look, let's.
Fire the whole staff. I'm just kidding.
The 2020 season is what it was. I'm just glad that from October to December, we got to watch some form of college football.
Yeah.
Say whatever you want about that. I don't think we.
Thanks to Dallas Hobbs.
Thanks to Justin Fields and Trevor Lawrence.
Well, no, that doesn't happen if Dallas Hobbs doesn't make it their edit.
Right. Right.
Dallas Hobbs, friend of the show, he made my edits for a while before he got too good at making edits.
Too big for us.
A 6'6", 285-pound defensive tackle at Washington State that was making edits on the side. This was prior to NIL.
What a guy.
Yeah. I didn't pay him, NCAA. Never gave him money.
I don't think the NCAA is going to retroactively do that. You
We'll
put
just
in
take him to court.
You put in an NIL. Not anymore. Actually, that's the next segment.
What's the SEC gonna do? Kick us out?
Yeah.
What are they gonna do to us? Kick us out of the
exile us
conference?
from the SEC?
Come
We're not
on,
going
man.
anywhere.
We're our own
Transition.
thing. Transition. I think we already talked about.
We
that.
kind of
we
hinted
kinda
on
already
hit on it about
I
how
think people are so bored with the rule changes that are coming, even though it's going to impact your sport. Y'all don't care.
Let's go back to some topics that you missed out on.
Okay.
Let's go back. So you missed some recruiting news a little bit. Like
Yeah.
You were also on the recruiting trail,
Yeah.
ironically enough, but you didn't get an opportunity to talk about it. So specifically over the weekend and yesterday, the biggest news recently though is Shadarius Tootle saying
What
that.
a name.
I know. We talked about that.
Yeah,
Sign me up
where does
right
that
now
come
today.
from? Where does Tootle originate from?
I don't know, but we're calling him Toods if he comes to Georgia.
Okay, Toods.
Shout out Toods.
Toods out here saying
Toods?
the Dogs are number one, despite being an Auburn commit.
Yeah, that was crazy.
Very interesting.
So apparently, I mean, I guess he got some forecasts, some sliding scale
Yeah.
majiggies to Georgia. And I had heard the optimism coming out of this weekend. So the first thing I did was text people, obviously, and see what their thoughts were. The visit went great. The visit went awesome. But it's June, or it's May, almost June, and that kid's an Alabama high school football player that's committed to Auburn. Auburn was in on Tyler Atkinson. They are out of the mix now, it seems. That's an in-state kid. They're going to do everything they can to hold on to that kid. What it reminds me of is DeMarcus Riddick. Honestly. DeMarcus Riddick came to a Georgia visit and was like, I want to play here, and committed to the University of Georgia. And about 3 months later, it was like, you know what? I think I might be an Auburn Tiger.
Auburn's like, no.
And by the way, this is the great thing about going out on the trail. You find out what other people's rooms are better than the R lads will tell you. And any linebacker coach you talk to on the trail right now knows for a fact Auburn is dead thin at inside linebacker. They've got the DeMarcus Riddick kid. They've got another young player that they love a lot. But after that, it's like, what's going to happen next year at our room if we don't prioritize this position?
Yeah, and that's what we kind of talked about last night. Like, I don't think that you're going to see Auburn just going, I guess we're going to lose this one despite what they're thinking. Are you reading the chat?
I'm reading Weed Guy Mike in the
he's
chat
on,
right there. He's on one.
He's on one tonight.
He's on properly named is what he's on. Dukes looks like he's on a little homegrown.
But no, back to what we were talking about, how I don't think Auburn's going to let this go as easy. And you even mentioned it before. These visit highs are very real. You get impressionable 18, 17-year-old kids where they come in, coaches tell them how much they love them. You tour the campus, everyone's showing you around. You've got your name on jerseys, names in the lockers, you're wearing all the gear. You see all the national championship trophies, things like that. Yeah, you will get very excited. You will say, oh, man, I really do want to go to school X. So it makes sense as to why right now Georgia's doing this after they had the big scavenger hunt weekend and why they're in the lead. I don't think this is going to be a done deal necessarily where Georgia, it's Georgia no matter what, like, despite what, Steve Wiltfong and others are saying.
Plus, you got to know, too, like, because official visits are ramping up, emotions are going to be going up and down so much because you are going to be going to Georgia 1 week, and then you might go to Alabama the next week, and then you might go to Oregon the next week. So, like, it's going to be up and down constantly over the next couple of months.
Young men going on these OVs, please watch what you are eating. Some of you high school football players go from being 225-pound linebackers to being 245 by the end of OV season, and then you wonder why your joints hurt in the season. Okay, so please, especially you offensive linemen. Some of you guys are going on these OVs, and the coach you're going to see is making decisions about you. He's trying to decide, are you one of the 5 that I'm taking on offensive line? Are you one of the 4 that I'm taking at defensive line? And if you're listed at 340 and you show up in the middle of July at 365, be careful, or as we say on this network, cuidado, papi. Cuidado. Be careful. Them OVs, man, they'll blow you up. Because you eating great.
Yeah.
You eating better than you ever had. All right, just be careful.
College town restaurants are pretty good.
Yeah, but it's even more than that. It's the spreads. It's the spreads that because during OV season, y'all notice the pain, like at Georgia, the indoor pain facility, that turns into tables everywhere. We got a stage up in the middle. We got a keynote speaker talking. We got 5-star dinners getting, catered for everybody. Take it easy. Take it easy. Especially you offensive linemen. I got one in particular in my mind right now. I wish I was close enough to you, son, to let you know, because some of your coaches are like, "Ooh, watch out. We don't know if we're gonna be able to take this guy. He keeps swelling up."
Another aspect that took place in the recruiting news a couple days ago, it might have actually been yesterday, Seven Cloud signed with Rosenhaus Sports, which is obviously Drew Rosenhaus Sporting Agency, and this kind of let off alarms for a lot of Georgia fans and Miami fans because obviously Drew Rosenhaus represented Jackson Cantwell, who just got that massive deal and kind of was lured to sign with Miami as opposed to Georgia because, tying the strings between Drew Rosenhaus is a Miami grad. He's going to go and he's getting all these players to now sign for Miami. He's doing dirty work for Miami. So I was just wondering, what was your opinion on all that?
We were supposed to have Seven on the show pretty soon. And communications went dead cold silent recently.
Figured.
So I don't know if that means I'm not going to be able to talk to the person that I've always talked to for Seven, because I guarantee you I'm not. Now it's going to be, you're going to have to contact this person.
Yeah.
So from that standpoint, makes it a little more difficult. We still got, he's going to be at, where's he at, Blinn? He's at a community college.
Butler.
He's going to be at Butler for another 6 months. He's there until December.
Yeah.
This ain't good.
Yeah.
This definitely means that I guarantee you Rosenhaus is shopping him now. I don't think they were shopping him before. You don't sign an agent like that unless you want more money.
Well, that's what I was also going to say is you don't shut down the recruitment and then a week later sign with that agent.
Yeah.
Like, you'd have to imagine, that was kind of my thing today. Like, it's not like Seven Cloud shut down his recruitment and then picked up a phone call 2 days later and was like, yeah, you know what, I'll sign with Drew Rosenhaus and we'll crack this thing back open.
Yeah.
Like, you'd have to imagine that there were talks with Rosenhaus agencies before they even shut down the recruitment. Now, that's to say you could absolutely be right. He's probably getting shopped. The recruitment probably did get more expensive, but it was going to get more expensive. That's how these go. As time goes on, they cost more.
And, like, I don't necessarily fear this because I know how they feel about Seven. They feel like Seven Cloud is the best defensive tackle prospect in this class. Mm-hmm. Now, obviously, he's older than every kid that's in this class because he's spent 2 years at JUCO. But they think this kid's really, really special. Mm-hmm. And when they feel that way, they do what they have to. That being said, does Miami have an endless budget?
I would
Because here's my deal. And look, you Miami fans, y'all got all up in arms about that shit last week. And here's the reality. The numbers that I reported and that were then thus reported by everybody else, they were real. $5 million over 2 years. But here's the deal. Certain schools are throwing certain bags at certain kids because they're prioritizing certain kids. If we have, let's say everyone's got $40 million available, like the Texas numbers that's reported. Those are the 105 guys on campus that are probably accounting for $30 million, meaning you only have about $10 million to play with, right, out in your next class or however much it is. We can't have $40 million and 105 kids on campus and then go spend $25 million bringing the next 20 kids in. That's not how it works. That's not how budgets work. So not everyone, no matter who you are, if you're Oregon, if you're Miami, if you're Ohio State, if you're Texas, you don't have an endless budget in every class. So you have to selectively pick athletes that you're going to, quote, go all in on. Georgia has very clearly gone all in on Jared Curtis. They very clearly were willing to pay Jackson Cantwell some type of north of $1 million per year, from what I've been told. That money is probably getting allocated elsewhere. So some of these kids are getting chips pushed in on certain schools. Like Ohio State, I think the kid that right now, from everything I hear, they're willing to pay just about anything to make sure that they land is Tyler Atkinson. And it makes sense. Sonny Styles is about to leave that room. They need the next Sonny Styles. This is him. He's right here. So I think certain schools are going all in on certain prospects.
And going back to the Seven Cloud thing as well.
And that's where that's one of those ones. If the price goes up, I bet Georgia pays it.
And that's what my whole point about it is regardless of if he hired him or not, Seven Cloud's price was going to go up anyways because
we said yesterday.
If Georgia is viewing him as the top defensive lineman in this class, and we're talking about the number one JUCO prospect in the country right now, then they're probably not the only ones that are viewing him as that type of crown jewel in this recruiting class. So the only point I was making was just because he signs agent doesn't mean the price is automatically going up. It was going to go up regardless, probably.
And also, just because he signed with Rosenhaus does not mean that it automatically means he's getting shopped elsewhere. This could also be just a representation play of getting other sponsorships and other deals elsewhere. Like, Drew Rosenhaus handles numerous players. Like, I wasn't necessarily concerned with seeing this.
That's how you may feel. I feel as if any agent, the caliber of Drew Rosenhaus getting involved means one thing only. That dude is not interested in taking pay cuts. He is not. He has not become who he is by telling kids, yep, that's fine. Take 50% less and go over there. That's not how agents like that work. So I am fearful of it if I'm a Georgia fan. That's me. Now, I don't have any sourcing behind that, okay? I just think that Drew Rosenhaus is who Drew Rosenhaus is because he ain't out here taking pay cuts.
He's handled Georgia players before.
Who?
Malachi Starks is one of these.
Once he became one. That was a junior year. We start signing Power Rate deals. That's that. In my opinion, that's different.
Okay. I'm just saying, like, I don't know. Like, I feel like not to say that Georgia has a say in this at all, but obviously there's some type of, like, okayness around this. Like, that Drew Rosenhaus. It's not like Drew Rosenhaus is like, screw the Bulldogs, F Georgia, F Kirby Smart. I'm gonna go hook up Miami
I
with
think-
7 Cloud.
I think the main thing that are scaring
Oh,
Georgia
you think there's a
fans-
Miami tie?
That's
because
what's
he's Drew
scary.
Rosenhaus
That's
is
what's
from
it's
scary.
the
Miami?
recent
Georgia
history.
fans.
Yeah, I don't
And
know
the, and the
about
thing
that.
is, like, just because he helped out with Jackson Cantwell,
No.
it's like, oh,
He is a businessman.
exactly.
That's all I ain't worried about him handing kids over to Miami. I am worried about Miami saying, "Oh, Georgia's paying you that, we'll double it."
Okay.
That's what I'm worried about.
And if they do, then good for 7 Cloud for getting that.
yeah. So, but I don't know. I text some people just now. That don't
But
mean
if
they're gonna
Miami
answer
could
me.
throw money around it like that, why have they been signing better recruiting classes?
That's a good question. I think they throw it around at certain players.
Yeah. I don't know. It was just an interesting conversation.
Yeah.
Let's go to a little bit more of a positive one. Obviously, the scavenger hunt was this weekend, but it seemed like Ryan Mosley was a big talking point out of the weekend. That's obviously the wide receiver target for them. Anything there?
Yeah. I mean, I didn't look. This job, I hate doing this because we have a very easy job compared to what all of us have done in years prior. I mean, you were a demo guy. You've worked at YMCA's. I've worked in construction. This ain't shit.
Yeah.
So I want to say that. All right. This is nothing. This is fun. However, the whole predicting classes, projecting classes, silent commits, who's in, who's out, can you give me a class projection? It's impossible nowadays. That being said, of all the players that were on campus during scavenger hunt weekend, if there were a modern day silent, I feel like they feel great about where they sit right now with Ryan Mosley. So that's good news.
Yeah.
And obviously the Shadarius Tootle stuff went well this weekend. But I was told they feel great about where they're at with Ryan Mosley.
Gotcha. Good to know. All right. So some more pressing news that occurred today was some more details were released about the Georgia-Florida matchup. It had already been announced that Georgia and Florida were going to be playing at Atlanta, and they were also going to be playing in Tampa Bay. But some of the more financial decisions around this and what exactly is coming out of this for both of these programs was announced, and they're pretty significant. And to me, it kind of added up as to why it's so important that this game remains as a neutral site game. Because, look, I would love a home-and-home with Georgia and Florida, and I would love to see that those two schools play against one another, have a true away game for one another, and the fans get to experience that. But when you throw these numbers around, kind of makes you feel a little bit different. Like, for instance, despite the fact that Georgia and Florida are not playing in Jacksonville this year, they are still going to be paid $7.5 million
By the city of Jacksonville.
by the city of Jacksonville.
To not play in Jacksonville.
$7.5 million because they want to make sure, hey, you're going there and to Tampa Bay next year, but it's still us. And they still have a contract from 2028 to 2031.
You got news going on?
Anthony Edwards just left again with an ankle injury, so I'm going to put that out.
Okay. I was just wondering. You look like you were busy.
Figured that'd be a good live play.
Oh,
so.
no, it's a great live play. In fact,
Absolutely.
I almost want to come over there and switch cameras for you.
No, you're good.
But what were we talking about?
We're talking about Georgia home and home. They get $7.5 million.
Oh, dude, I've had conversations with high up brass about this discussion topic. It's simple. It's a money in, money out discussion. All right, they make, I would say, 75% more money every single year playing that game in Jacksonville than they do even home games. Okay, they get paid $7.5 million plus $500,000 in logistics fees. Right, it costs you money.
$500,000 in logistic fees, and then they're also being paid $1.5 million by both stadiums.
That's
so
now.
Mercedes-Benz.
Yeah, I'm talking about any given year in Jacksonville.
Yeah.
They get $7.5 million per school from the city. Okay. Then they get the $500,000 to travel down there. All right. When you play a home game, you have expenses. You have to pay security. You have to pay the people who are working at the stadium. You have to pay for trash disposal. You have to pay for all the stuff that's going out there. And then meanwhile, a city calls you and says, hey, we got an NFL stadium down here that's relatively centrally located between you and your biggest rival. We'll pay you $8 million a year to just come down here and play. And you don't have to worry about anything. You don't have to worry about expenses. We'll pay for everything. Just come down here and subsidize our community for 3 days. Please, will you do it? Hell yeah.
Yeah.
We got you. This will never move.
No.
I don't think it will ever move because financially, especially nowadays where we're going, where all dollars and cents counts in the rev share model, we're never going to a home and home. But here's my thing, and I tweeted about this today. I just laid it out for you. I've had these conversations. I understand. I have a master's in business administration. I understand debits and credits. I get it. I understand balancing a fiscal budget. However, this is a sport where we have done nothing but as decision makers in this sport, looked at our fan base and just said, financial decision after financial decision, whack. I'm going to slap you over the head. It's all dollars and cents. Whack. We don't give a shit. You like traditions? Don't care. Whack. We're just going to hit you over the head. Wham, wham, wham. It's all about money. Wham, 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 wham. And then the one time we have an opportunity to make this game a home and home, which about 65% of both fan bases have been asking for and clamoring for about 15 years, just a layup right here for you. The Jags are redoing their stadium for 2 years. Y'all got an opportunity to go home and home. Nope, not going to do it. We just like that $8 million way too much. When y'all make $250 million every year, we ain't got to squeeze the 8.5 every time, is all I'm saying.
Yeah, this would have been the proper opportunity to do it. But again, just reading over these numbers, and you're talking about the expenses that come with home games, and in the article it's mentioned how Arthur Blank is fitting the bill for security, concession stand workers, the works.
It's simple, dude. Either make $4.5 million every other year or make $7.5 million every year.
Yep.
Simple.
And
that's $10 million net difference over 2 years.
And this year you make $9 million because you get $1.5 million from Mercedes-Benz.
You can't do it. You just physically can't do it.
Nope. So
as much as I would love to see Florida come to Athens, as much as I would love to travel down to Gainesville and watch a game in the swamp, it just ain't happening.
Nope.
I think it's also worth noting how we've talked about how it's much harder to win in the SEC. Why would you want to add a road game to your schedule?
That's a good point.
Like, why would we as Georgia, who have to play Texas, Alabama, all these other teams throughout the season, why would we want to go to Gainesville, Florida? We can play a neutral site game. That game's hard enough to win as it is. I mean, Georgia's on their longest win streak in 30 years, and it's just 4 games.
I also think the 50-50 split needs to be different. It needs to be right down the 50-yard line, not down the middle
That
of the
would look
field.
a little cooler.
Yeah,
it's not about looking cooler. There is no, like, when Texas and Oklahoma play, when you're Texas and you cross the 50 into that side of the field, it feels like they're at home. When you're on your side of the field, you feel like you're at home. At that Georgia game, there is none of that. One half of the field is screaming, and the other half of the field is screaming. It does not feel like a home field advantage at all for any team at any point.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Except for when someone's up 30 points and the rest of the blue folks leave the stadium.
Nice. And as far as some quick ticket details goes, season ticket holders at Mercedes-Benz, like, I don't know if people know this, but you can have season tickets for Atlanta United, for the Atlanta Falcons, for concerts and
everything but the T-Swizzle concert?
Everything.
Oh.
You get claimed tickets for that. They will have dibs on their tickets. Suite holders obviously have dibs on their tickets, and then it'll go to season ticket holders to the programs, and then it will be released to the public. So that's just kind of a little update on what the ticket situation is going to be looking like, a timeline there. Reasons why everybody is dubious of the Dogs.
Yeah, I got this.
Okay,
We also
it over.
have the wheel, by the way.
Yeah, we got the wheel. We'll get to it in a second. I kind of hit on this the other day. Like, the Josh Pate rankings came out, and everybody's up in arms about that one in the Georgia space because not only are you ranked 11th, but Florida's ranked 9th, and that alone would stick a thorn in your side, right? Make you go all up in arms. But it ain't just Pate. It's Klatt. It's ESPN. It's anybody you can find, even us. I mean, I don't want to exclude us. We ranked Georgia 6th, all right, as a collective. When we averaged them together, they came out 6th. That's not 3. That's not where they're normally at. So even us, we're a little bit less bullish on Georgia as we normally are every single year. But not as bad as the national scene. And I hit on this last week. I told you the only reason people are doubting Georgia, or as we got it in the notes, they're dubious of the Dogs, because I love alliteration. All right? They're dubious of your football program because they don't believe in your quarterback. That's it. That's all it is. They do not think your quarterback is ever going to be a first-round caliber talent. And I'm here to tell you, it really don't mean a hill of beans. It really doesn't. Not in college football. And I know this is going to sound weird, but there is a plethora of really, really great college quarterbacks who we knew for a fact during their college football career, that guy ain't going to make it in the NFL, or that guy's not going to be a first-round draft pick, or that guy's got limitations, or that guy's not the best college football or NFL prospect that there is available. This is still college football. No different than, I know he's in my mind right now. He's fresh in my mind because it's a news item. The Zakai Ziegler kid, you're my basketball guy. Zakai Ziegler was probably the best point guard in SEC basketball last year. Mm-hmm. That guy's got no NBA future, does he?
No, he's 5'9".
He's got no NBA future. But the dude is a baller in college. This happens in college football all the time, especially at the quarterback position. I got a plethora of them. David Green. Everybody knew this kid not going to be an NFL quarterback. Won more games than anybody not named Kellen Moore. Who's next on the list? Kellen Moore won a shitload of college football games and racked up the stats, throwing all over the field, even against SEC football teams. Everybody knew this guy's not going to make it in pro ball. He is not 6'5". He does not have the world's biggest arm. This guy's not going to make it. Tim Tebow. Everybody knew Tim Tebow, Heisman winner, should have won it twice. Some people had that argument. Everybody knew, except for Josh McDaniels, this guy not going to work out in the NFL. All right? Everyone knew it. They could smell it, but they knew he was a great college football quarterback. Why? Because he elevated the team. He did things that college football quarterbacks do required to win. Stetson Bennett won a national title. Nobody thought that guy was going to be a first-round draft pick. In fact, when he was a fourth-round draft pick, people looked at the Los Angeles Rams like, what are they doing?
Yeah.
Right? Not a guy. Not one of these blue-chip prospects at the cornerback position. Let's go outside of Georgia space. Connor Shaw. Connor Shaw lit the SEC up for 3 years, winning big-time football games at South Carolina. The best run of South Carolina football there's ever been. Connor Shaw, everybody knew. This guy is not going to play on Sundays for a long time. Will Howard just got done winning a national title. The dude was a third or fourth round draft pick by the Pittsburgh Steelers? Mm-hmm. Never sniffed in a discussion of first round quarterbacks in a draft where there wasn't very many, right? So everyone knew about that one. Aaron Murray. Everyone knew probably a third, fourth round draft pick, maybe never going to be a top end starter in the NFL.
In Aaron Murray's defense,
knee injury.
He was coming off a knee injury.
How about this one? Colt McCoy.
There you go.
Played for a national title. Probably would have had a good chance of winning it had he not broke his shoulder. All right, in the second snap of the game, shout out Mount Cody. All right, so great college football player. Everybody knew not going to work out in the NFL. Dak Prescott was this way. Dak Prescott was a fourth-round draft pick that because Tony Romo fractured his spine in this preseason, they figured it out. Oh, shit, this guy can play ball. But he was great in college, right? But no one was projecting him that way. Jalen Hurts, Jake Fromm. I mean, the list goes on and on. And here's the deal. The idea that you have to be a great NFL quarterback to be a great college quarterback is hustling backwards. It doesn't make sense. Historical data proves this. You know, there's only 4 quarterbacks in the history of football to win both the college football national title and the Super Bowl, 3 of which played before most of the people listening to this were even alive.
Yep.
Those 4 names, Joe Namath, Joe Montana, Kenny Stabler, Jalen Hurts. And Jalen Hurts was a second-round draft pick that nobody thought was going to be a great pro. And he turned out to be one. All right, so all I'm trying to tell you is that there are things required and things that allow you to be really, really highly successful on the college ranks that may not work out in the NFL, but that doesn't mean you don't have a chance to be a great college quarterback. This dude does all of those things that I think all those other guys did. He's tough. He's competitive. He elevates the teammates around him. He can make all of the throws on the college ranks. Gunnar Stockton is going to be fine.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and again, the word fine is exactly what I think is why you're getting all this attention from the media. You can't sell fine. You can't make that look sexy. You can't say that's going to be someone to pay attention to. It's why he's not in any of the top 50 rankings. It's why no one touches him in top 10. It's why no one's really talking about him. It's why people have even said, oh, he's got the inside track to the starting job, but we don't know yet, just because he is a fine quarterback.
And I think that people have taken this assumption that just because you say someone is a fine quarterback, that's an insult, that's a bad thing. That the fact that if you think of Gunnar Stockton, you think, oh, he's going to be a fine quarterback, that's a bad thing. Same discussion that gets into play when it's like, oh, he's a game manager. He's not a good quarterback. He's just a game manager. As if that's a bad thing. As if game managers can't win football games, can't win important football games.
You know what I've found about game managers? Them quarterbacks are always on winning teams.
Yeah.
We ain't out here calling the 3-12 suspect quarterback a game manager. But when he's 6 foot tall and he doesn't throw the ball like Patrick Mahomes and he's winning 12 games, we call the sumbitch a game manager. It's so weird.
That's not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing to be a game manager. It's not a bad thing to not be 6'4", 210 pounds and can throw it 90 yards.
Oh, dude, if he was, he would be ranked like Sawyer Robertson's ranked on all these rankings.
That Joker won the SEC last year, man.
I mean, if Gunnar Stockton were 6'3", over with. That's all it takes. But since he's 6 foot, and if the ball came out the exact same way, but he didn't have the elongated motion, no one would say a word because the ball jumps.
Yeah.
If you watch this, the ball jumps. It's just a little long,
Yeah, man.
a little muscly, a little stiff,
Yeah. I mean,
a
I
little
think
Haynes Kingy.
I think Gunnar Stockton is certainly a focal point of this, and then I think a lot of it too is, and this is a conversation we've gotten into of, you're projecting a lot. Like really, the only person on the offense right now that you're really not projecting, but you still kind of are, is Nate Frazier. Like you know that he's a dude, and Nate Frazier is going to be successful this year as Georgia's running back. But Colby Young, you're kind of projecting him to be good for Georgia because you haven't really seen it at Georgia. Noah Thomas, he was fantastic. He was fantastic last year. This year, you're still waiting to see. Zachariah Branch had a bit of a dip last year at USC, so you're projecting him to be better because he's at the University of Georgia. Oscar Delp and Lawson Lucky, you're projecting them to be better than they were last year. So I think that has a lot to do with it. It's like there doesn't feel anything that's safe to say, like this is going to be like the offensive line. I mean, Cole Kublik himself said they're going to be the best offensive line in the SEC this year, but he said, this is my projection.
Yeah, I would pick Alabama on paper preseason.
That's fair.
And I like what Georgia's got, but they have 3 or 4 guys that have like played a lot of snaps and good snaps. Isn't 77 the guard back this year?
I think so.
Will you look that up for me? I know Brailsford's back and Caden Proctor's back, obviously. Those are blue chippers.
I floated this theory out last night to Jalen. I kind of want to see if you agree with it.
Jaden Roberts, yes.
Jaden Roberts is still on the roster. Those are 3 high-end SEC football players that we know are high-end SEC football players. We're projecting everything with Georgia, like Cole said.
I floated this theory out last night to Jalen. I kind of want to see if you agree with it. It seems like the national media is looking at 2024 in a vacuum and assuming that everything that was bad about that Georgia team last year, the drops, the inconsistencies, the penalties, the uncharacteristicness of it all, is going to transfer to 2025. And looking at that as well and saying all the good things, Jalen Walker, as reliable as Trevor Etienne was, Tate Ratledge, Malachi Starks, all of that is gone. And I feel like it's transferring over, and that's the projection for 2025.
I also think it's just fun right now and cool, and it gets clicks right now to say that Georgia's dead.
Mm-hmm.
And Alabama went through this. Clemson went through this last year. Every predominantly dominant program will have this said about them.
It is.
Ohio State's 2 years removed from this.
Yeah.
They'll have this next offseason. If he doesn't win again, it'll be, uh-oh. Was there a blimp on the radar? Were they a one and done? Was Ryan Day a one and done? You'll hear it.
I do think it is funny, though, how, this probably started as, what's a hot take I can give? Oh, Georgia's not going to be good this year. And then everybody, that's a great take.
I agree.
I'm going to do it as well. Georgia's not going to be good this year. To where it feels like it's a hot take to be like, Georgia is going to win the SEC this year. Georgia's going to be the SEC title game this year. Georgia's going to be a top 7 seed in the college football playoff. That feels like what's steering into that's quite a take you got right now. Just interesting to me.
Do you want to spin the wheel?
I ain't spun the wheel in a minute.
It's been a while.
Hey, I do want to ask this. What was it like doing a show from the boss man's chair?
A lot more comfortable.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh,
So
we got to get you a new chair?
His chair.
you don't have to, but it's a little more cozy over there.
All right, I'll get you a new chair.
You don't have to. I'm not. That wasn't me
There
saying.
are some days
Dadgummit, buy me a chair.
where we're mid-show and I look over at Jay Will and his knees are in his chest and he's like, bullshit the day.
No, man, it's cool.
Poor guy.
That was not me. I was saying, you got a good chair. You deserve to have a good chair.
Jay Will, apart from my father-in-law, is the most go-with-the-flow human being I've ever had in my life.
He is
He'll
pretty
just-
go with the
He'll
flow.
just pick up and go. And that's what I love about him. One of many things that I love about him. But he's just going to go. He ain't gonna complain. Even then, that's his way of complaining. You ain't got to, but man, my shit's hurting.
It'd be really great if you could find the kindness of your heart to find me a chair with maybe some more lumbar
But no, I like it
support.
over
Give
there.
me a chair, man.
I mean, you get both sides of me. You get the good angle, the other good angle. I mean, it's.
All right, Jay. Well, let's tone it down a bit now.
But was it?
We're getting into Diddy
Was
territory.
it a different vibe? Was it a different feeling having the confidence monitor? Watching you, you look like you looked at it a little bit too much.
Oh, I was never looking at the confidence
You didn't?
monitor. I was
Okay.
always either trying to look into the camera,
Yeah.
or I'm looking at Kirby. I never
Yeah.
really caught myself I'm staring at myself.
So the key when you do this in this chair is to stare in that lens and disappear.
Yeah.
You see nothing but the lens, and then that's it. And then, when I do Sunday shows during the season, bro, you ever seen For the Love of the Game?
Yes.
When he clears the mechanism?
Yes.
That's what it feels like 10 minutes in. I can't see anything. It's just a fuzz. I don't even look at my notes. I'm just ripping. Honestly, it makes me want to fire you too sometimes and just do solo shows.
Maybe if you're in here more, you could do some solo shows.
That's a lie. I don't laugh at all. Oh, wow. Wow.
It's funny because you're working still, but
Yeah.
you're not here.
I'm not here, but I'm grinding.
Look, I still have the longest active streak of consecutive days on the show.
Oh, yeah?
You've counted these.
I made an dude. Yes.
He started counting when I missed. That's what happened.
Well, that's when the streak started.
Yeah.
That's why.
Let's go streak into that board.
Maybe not streak. Maybe just.
Honey,
Brisk-
honey, we're going streaking through the quad.
Hit
Y'all
close
don't know
on that
movie.
before it.
That's so crazy. Would you rather?
It's
Let's
old.
see it.
It's
Let's
old
go.
school. Oh, we're going straight to it.
Yeah, would you rather?
You might want
Come
to
on,
change
right
the
to it.
camera angle too.
Would you rather?
Would you rather? Let me find it first. Beat Alabama by 30 points every year you play them, or be guaranteed to reach the semifinals every year.
Oh, semifinals.
I don't know if I'm smacking Bama's ass.
How?
No.
This is
No.
the real question.
I would not let you guys do this right now. You're telling me, like, golly, man. You making it to the semifinals every single year, you're guaranteeing yourself in a 1-in-4 shot to win the national
Hey,
title.
hold on. We got to be careful here. Because if we're the Georgia show out here taking the wins over Alabama every year,
Excuse me.
they're going to be living, quote unquote, rent free.
Let me first
we can't let
apologize
that.
to you. The question is every other year.
Oh, you're talking about CFP semifinal every other year? Mm-hmm. Yeah, if I'm beating Bama every year.
Every year
I'm
you play
almost-
them.
Oh,
Hey, cut your lav on.
I thought I did.
Every year you
I'm
play
gonna do-
Alabama, you beat them by 30 points, or
gonna
you're
do-
guaranteed to at least reach the semifinals every other
Yeah, I'm
year.
definitely unmuted, I thought.
Now talk.
Hey.
There you go. That was
Hey.
picking up.
All right, I think we're good.
Nah, man.
it back out
Semifinals
now?
every other year. You're not guaranteed to play Bama. Like, after this year, who knows the next time you'll play Alabama? Like, nah, man.
Am I still? What's going on with the lab?
No, you're fine. It's picking up fine over
All
here.
right, we're good now.
I think it was just, I don't know.
Might be a little
Oh,
quiet.
name that bulldog.
It is hiding underneath me.
I've been doing pretty well. I just jinxed myself, but I've been doing pretty
You've
good
been
with
doing
these.
pretty well with these, Jay. Well, this
been
might.
locked in with Name the Duke.
I got Asher Allen yesterday.
Who?
Exactly. I
Asher
got
Allen-
Asher Allen.
All right, if
Sorry, Asher. Not to disrespect you.
That's a Kirby Bulldog right there. A Christian Kirby Bulldog.
you pull
right
this
there.
one, I'll be very impressed. This Georgia Bulldog played corner during Kirby Smart's first season as head coach.
Maurice Smith.
Not Maurice Smith. Great guess, though. He wore number 12.
Oh, Joan Briscoe.
Dude, he's on fire.
I actually, so this is like one of those small world things.
Bro,
so,
these are names I don't even know.
so my dad was.
Now, I know Mo Smith because he's the first transfer Kirby
Yeah.
took, but that's it.
And the Auburn game, obviously.
So my dad was athletic director of the high school that I went to, but when he was athletic director there, as a kid, I would go be the water boy for the football team. The head coach of that football team moved up to Maryland and ended up coaching Jawan Briscoe. So when he came back and visited us, he's like, yeah, Georgia's going to take this Jawan Briscoe kid, and they ended up taking him. And so like that name is always ingrained into my mind.
Wow. Well, yeah, had I known that, I would have made him guess that Bulldog. the main reason I remember Jawan Briscoe was because he had a rough go of things sometimes in that first season, but he picked up the game-sealing fumble against Missouri. Are we spinning it a third time?
A third time's a charm.
A third spin.
And then I want to run a segment idea by you, or a content idea strategy by the chat.
UGA trivia. Name the first Georgia Bulldog to score a touchdown in the Kirby Smart era.
Jacob Eason.
Nope.
Isaiah McKenzie.
Yeah, that's
No, that was Jacob Eason's first passing touchdown, but not the first Georgia Bulldog. It's a very common name.
Nick Chubb.
It was Nick Chubb.
hell yeah.
Nick Chubb scored the first rushing touchdown against UNC in 2016 in the kickoff game.
Should we give this segment idea?
Yeah, let's
Should we see if they actually like
let's
it?
pitch it to him.
Oh,
Nice. All right, so we do a lot of rankings. Everyone does rankings. It's a very highly repetitive segment idea. So here's what I got to thinking about today while driving home. I like to play 9 holes of golf. I don't have time for 4 hours of fuck off to play 18 holes of golf. So I'm a constant front 9 player. So here's what I thought today. We would have a show called Front 9 where Jonathan and I, because this guy's a non-golf playing commie, Jonathan and I
Commie?
will go out to the golf course and play a front nine. And we will do it ranking 9 top quarterbacks, 9 best football coaches, 9 best college football jobs. And during the whole, number 1, we rank number 1, and we explain why we have that team, player, person, whatever, ranked number 1. How do we feel about this segment?
I mean, you're asking me to play golf for my job, so.
I'll still go. I don't know if I'll play the golf.
Yeah, you could ride the cart.
You can be our film guy?
I mean,
You don't want to be designated to filming and working. You
You
just
could
want
still
to
give
ride for
takes.
vibes?
no, I'll still go and give takes there.
Hey, I need someone to hold the flag for me, all right?
Pull the pin, baby.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's a demeaning term in golf, but I'm going to take offense to that, J. Will. That was
What's
not
the
very.
chat thinking? What's the vibes in the chat?
Sounds like an excuse to golf. I'm in. Kirby gonna be the caddy.
I'll be the caddy.
So this is not, hey, come watch Brooks and J. Will golf. This is, hey, come watch a normal show while we golf.
Whoa. Hunter with the
Yeah.
allegations.
Don't be coming to this show expecting some superb golf play specifically from me. This is just gonna be pure vibes. All right.
I mean, if I shot a 45 today. If I shoot a 45, about 35 of the shots, you're like, damn, Brooksy might be a stick.
Someone said, does it also include 9 beers?
Maybe for J. Will. Honestly, like, you know what? This is what happens when you quit drinking, okay? When you quit drinking, you know what you want to do so bad? And I think you guys have felt this when we go to college towns together. I want other people, my friends, to get. I want to get them drunk because I can't.
Yeah.
So I've never seen these two guys, get after a little bit. Not soberly. When I was an instigator and a participator, I might have seen it, but don't recall.
Can't even remember it.
So I would like to see J. Will 9 beers deep.
I mean, my golf game's that bad, so it might take 9 beers for me to willingly finish.
What
Or
if we did putt-putt
Maybe the chat's on something. Maybe instead of taking J. Will, I take like a famous person with me.
Oh, there you go. Yeah,
Yeah, Joe, sorry. You're not famous enough.
that's fine.
But I don't know a ton of famous people.
We know a couple famous.
Put it out there.
I mean, Gary, I probably have to fly Gary out here. That's expensive. You think Gary golfs?
Probably.
We can ask him.
I'll text him right now.
Do you think Dan Lanning golfs?
No.
Me and Dan Lanning will talk. Me and Dan Lanning will sit in the back of the car
Dan
and talk about
Lanning
how
strikes
stupid
me
the
as a
sport is.
pickleball player.
Pickleball is fun.
Yeah, it checks out.
You move around, dude. You feel it in your joints.
My wife
Get your
was
heart
on the
rate up.
vibes or on the train with the chat of this is just an excuse to golf. I'm gonna do it anyways. I might as well work while
Might
I'm
as
doing
well
it.
make
Might as
some
well produce some
content.
content.
Yeah.
Now, what if we did like I don't know, fishing? I'll be in for that.
Okay.
So what would we call that? Because front nine, I think the whole content strategy starts with does it have a good name? So I think front nine's a good one.
I like the idea of sitting around a pond and giving out takes while fishing, but
Lakes and takes,
ooh,
Lakes
okay,
and takes.
Okay.
lake and take,
We're getting somewhere.
lake and take, like wake and bake, lake and take.
Okay. See, we're already getting somewhere.
All right. Isn't this market already cornered by DGD Outdoors though?
We make our own market.
We'll
They do a
make
good
another
job.
corner.
Huh?
We'll make another corner.
Oh.
If there's one corner, it implies there's another, dude.
I like
Is there
it
even
though.
anywhere good to fish around here?
I mean, I catch fish constantly in my neighborhood pond.
Like, are they like fish, or is it just like, cool bluegill?
What's wrong with catching some bluegill?
It's a consolation prize, dude. You catch the bluegill when you go 2 hours without getting anything else. All right, you know what?
All right.
Hand me the Doc Master.
This
I'm
was
gonna
the
throw
real reason I was lingering. I'm not going to read this verbatim. The Drew Rosenhaus stuff is not a red flag. They don't feel like he's a lunatic.
Told you guys.
Said he's fair, will work to get his client the best deal, but doesn't play games.
Okay.
So there you go.
Is
Kind of what
that,
we expected.
Is that
Straight shooter that's there to get his client good money.
Okay.
Straight shooter McGavin.
See what you
The one golf movie I like. The only good golf movie there is.
Only 364 more days till hockey trials.
Well, they're making
Gotta
another
toughen
one.
up.
So there's about to be 2 of them.
Comes out on the. I'm actually gonna watch that, dude.
You know the Mr. lady? I think I just killed her.
13th green. Wear something nice.
How's a man supposed to putt with that kind of stuff going on?
What a great movie.
Oh yeah, Caddyshack.
Way better.
Not a
That's fair.
Caddyshack
Way
fan.
That's
better.
fair. Caddyshack is good. That's
Caddyshack's
Caddyshack
a
is
great
so
movie.
good.
Sorry, everyone.
So there's two.
There's two.
About
good
to be
golf-
three.
There's two good golf movies.
And at the end of the 18th hole, he tries to stiff me. And I'm like, hey, Llama, how about a little, payments for the efforts? And he looks at me and he says, oh, no, there will be no money. But on your deathbed, you will receive total consciousness. So I got that going for me, which is nice.
How much of your brain is just occupied of
Stupid shit I can't use.
movie quotes?
Movie quotes, random numbers, film clips. Yeah, just
do you mean what do
country
you mean by-
music lyrics.
What do you mean by random numbers? Like you just like I know
212 Brooks Robinson career home runs.
Okay, so like random statistics.
Yeah,
I think you'll just be like
numbers.
sitting in your chair like 45 and just go back to work.
No.
That's a talent, by the way.
No.
I could do it again if you'd like.
I'll come up with another 33.
No, I have a bunch of useless information.
Okay, like so statistics. That's not useful.
I feel like that's though like what makes great sport content creators.
Yeah.
If you have useless information that you can make useful, that's what makes a great sports content
Yeah.
creator.
I actually had this conversation with my father-in-law one day. We were trimming the tree out in front of our old house, and he was telling me what each kind of tree was. And I was like, man, that right there, that is some knowledge.
This is worthless information.
That
Thank
is some
you.
worthless information. And he looked at me, he laughed, he said, yeah, you're filled with a lot of worthless information too, but you seem to be able to make some money off of yours.
Dang.
Big facts.
I was like, appreciate you,
That's,
Pop.
that's helpful at least.
Yeah.
Nah, everyone loves sports, dude.
Yeah.
People don't love trees. They cut them down all the time. Trees suck, dude. I hate them.
What? What a take.
I'm joking.
He wants to burn the world.
You know
down.
what really sucks? Oxygen.
It's true.
Go live in New York then.
Man, I'm done. I'm done with the high school recruiting trail for the year.
Oh, I thought you were like, I'm
Oh,
no
I
longer
thought-
doing it.
No.
Yeah,
was like,
I thought you were like, this
kicking
is
it,
it.
man.
I had enough of this shit.
3,500 miles, 36 schools, 27 stops. It was a lot.
Oof.
It was a lot.
It's a lot of driving.
It
Any
was.
crazy stories from just the road?
No. I didn't have to talk my way out of a ticket this
I was just
year.
saying, I feel like this is the first year you hadn't had a ticket.
No, I didn't.
Man.
Well, I take that back. I guarantee I got a photo ticket showing up. I looked down, may or may not have been texting, looked up, was about 3/4 of the way through a school zone.
Oops.
Yeah. Probably going to get me one of them in the mail
Get one of those, get the tape, adhesive tape you can put over your license plate.
that reflects it.
Yeah.
That still makes it look clear, but to a camera it blacks it out.
Very illegal, by the way.
Yeah.
Really?
Don't do that.
Wouldn't recommend that.
Would not
Folks at home.
recommend.
Wouldn't recommend.
10 out of 10 would not recommend.
Don't do that. If you're listening, Christian Kirby says no. They can't see the wink.
Our podcast listeners didn't catch that.
Podcast.
We have
listeners.
podcast listeners?
I hope so.
We're gonna find out because they're gonna be
if
pissed
if we don't, then I'm doing a lot of work after these shows for nobody to listen to it.
Man, the Braves suck, huh?
Easy now. We had the best record in baseball over the last month. Since
Worst sports take in the history of sports takes. Georgia and the Atlanta Braves are the Spider-Man meme.
I
Who
don't know.
the
It's
hell
up,
gave that take?
it's up
don't
there
know.
with Michigan is gonna get boxed by Alabama.
It's up there with Jalen Walker has no playing time this year.
Well, in your defense, you didn't necessarily say you had no playing. You said, "Where's the avenue for it?" I
Yeah,
can't see
I
it.
thought we were just talking terrible takes. I didn't think we had to delve into me actually giving one.
You know what? Let's get a little deeper into this one.
Yeah, you didn't
Why-
have to,
why
have
did
to,
you feel
You
the
didn't have to
need?
give me credit for that one. I didn't really need
I
to.
mean,
Yeah.
if people watch the show, they know that. They know that you gave that take, just like Jay Will gave the baseball take.
Well, I thought this was an anonymous.
Jay Will gave the baseball
I thought
take.
this was a
Brooks
safe
gave.
space,
Brooks
honestly.
said
I
I
Michigan
thought
was
this was
going
a
to get
safe
boxed.
space.
Yeah.
I thought no one was pointing fingers, no one was casting blame.
This is
And
it.
here we go. Kirby letting us know that we
This
had
is it.
terrible takes.
Look, all I'm saying is, just own up to it. I own up to my wrong takes. I was dead wrong about those damn black jerseys, dude. I beat that drum for 3 freaking months, only for them to show
Black
up.
Friday, guys. They have to wear
Black
them.
Friday, senior class hadn't done it up to that point. Last home game on a Friday night, like all the signs were there, and boy was I wrong.
Kirby was probably going to do it until you opened your mouth. He's
If
like,
you know,
get
if
a load
that's-
of this geek.
If that's the reason, I'm fine. Geek? Do I look like a geek? I'm not even wearing glasses.
Stereotyping.
Geek's not the one you get.
Yeah, I get like other ones that are honestly more hurtful.
Starts with a D and ends with a bag.
More
Yeah,
hurtful.
yeah,
Yeah.
hurtful to hurt my heart, but
Yeah.
I
That's
don't
okay.
think
It's
you're
not who
those
you are
things.
though. It's just what you look like.
yeah, I guess. I didn't realize they had a look.
It's just what your face looks like.
It's just what your face looks like.
It's the stash, honestly.
It's the stash. It's the glasses. It's the gold chain. It's the same reason I get some of the stuff that I get. It's who you are.
It is what it is. I don't care.
I like you.
Oh, thanks, man. I like you
Yeah,
too.
you're good in my book, baby.
Oh, sweet.
Hall of Fame in my book,
you
Coach.
got 2 good votes.
Hall of Fame in my book.
At least I have 2 people on my side,
Hell yeah.
and maybe like some family members. I don't know. We'll see.
Maybe a
Babies.
significant other.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Shout out, Bay. All right, I'm good. Y'all good?
Yeah.
Last show, best show. Appreciate y'all for being here.